fucking new character looks like a fucking, like, transgender female.
Sweet. My mom is my dad's mom.
I'm level 69.
It took me a second to figure out what he was talking about. But my mom is my dad's mom, and I'm like, wait.
Would you like to copy the rank of characters I want, Bear Cub? Rank 69 to this new character? Yes. I'm trying to fucking...
You can do that?
Yeah. You can carry your rank over.
Well then.
Yeah. And I know that because...
Is it just your rank, or...?
It's just your rank. Everything else can come back.
So you're 4 again.
Kind of. I can still get everything I want. So, okay, the reason I know this is because I have 2 viewers and no one's saying shit. Like, before the account that I play on now, I actually played on a different account. Or a character, I guess. Fucking Aaron Richards. Okay, so Santiago is the most, like, the closest to my dad in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking John Marston.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Dude, Randy is pretty much... Look up Angel in the Heritage if you ever make a new character. Also, Nico Bellic is here.
Really? Nico Bellic? Neat.
Yeah.
Nico. You ever have 3 women at once? Oh, big ones to be playing with!
Dude, if I made my dad Claude and my mom Sophia, I'm pretty much just Eminem.
I'm Slim Shady, the real Slim Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating, so I want the real Slim Shady. Please jump up. Please, or it says stand up. Please stand up. It doesn't say jump up. I don't care now.
It stands.
I just stopped caring. Isn't that amazing? Did you see the other rap battle that I put up in the server that I thought of? I thought of it at the ball field as well, but I didn't make the thumbnail until I like got into bed, and I was like, I can't sleep.
I forgot what it is, but yeah, I've seen it.
It's Ganondorf versus Darth Vader.
There it is. Yeah?
What do you think?
It sounds like it'd be fun to do.
Yeah, I was just like, Cody was taking a list of people that he likes and a list of people that I like and putting them like randomly against each other. And one of them was like Darth Vader and I think Shrek.
Which one of you likes
And then he was like, me, I love Ganondorf. And then he rolled Ganondorf for my side, and I was like, Darth Vader and Ganondorf. Perfect. Don't say any otherwise, because it's just perfect. Let's see.
Alright, let's go to my appearance. First, let's change that hair. Let's go with the,
You can do it in the name of love.
Let's go with a faux hawk. I haven't had that in a while. Eyebrows. Alright, let's... Unkempt is the closest to my actual eyebrows. I'll stay clean shaven. Actually, yeah, fuck it. Let's give myself facial hair. Let's do it. Fuck it. I'm special enough.
I'm special.
I'm in danger.
I'm a fatality. You gotta say that. Like chuckle and then say, I'm a fatality.
I'm a fatality.
It's funny.
Alright, so I have friends who know I can do voices, and they want evil things for those voices, right? One person
They want me to kill people.
One person wanted me to say in Shaggy's voice, Scoop, pass me a tissue.
Yeah. This ghost has got us now, Scoob.
Funny thing is...
Have you seen the Oni cartoon about Scooby-Doo? It's like only 50 seconds long, but it's
Oni and
freaking
G, yeah.
hilarious.
Ooh, ringer up my
Like, screw this! What? I do... Whenever I do Shaggy, I do like the later Shaggy. Like the
Yeah.
one from Cyber Chase where he's like a robot
Same.
sounding dude throughout that movie.
Yeah.
Where he's like, Mr. Virus!
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just like,
okay. So that's the Shaggy I do because I can't do the gravel in my Shaggy voice because then it sounds terrible.
she throws fireballs, man!
Oh, last
I'm
night
like,
when
I
I
don't
was
care,
like,
Shaggy.
last night when I was experimenting with the Venom voice, I found out I can do the fucking if I wanted to. I could do the fucking voice for Spindly Johnny from that from Cyber Chase.
Spindly Johnny!
Yeah.
I always like to. I like him, but at the same time, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
I used to think that was a decent one, and then I watched Cat Icarus's thing, and I'm like, man, this is actually kind of bad.
Oh, good. So you did get the Spindly Johnny joke.
Cat Icarus, he's hilarious. Like, I just find him really funny. I like him, and Some Call Me Johnny is like my favorite YouTuber.
Alright, so I've been watching
You
a lot of
probably
Kid
don't know
Icarus
who that one
recently,
is.
actually.
Well, Johnny's been on Kid Icarus's channel, actually. Do you know who that is? Some Call Me Johnny?
Was that the dude who had, like, the fucking dark-ass room and was acting creepy as fuck the whole time?
I don't think so. They were in the same room. It was like... It's when he was looking at the Insane Trilogy of Crash Bandicoot. The chubby dude with the glasses and the hat.
I'm not sure then.
Oh, I base a lot of my humor around him. Like, he's one of the main reasons I do YouTube at all, because he's really... he's amazing. Like, when it comes to YouTubers I'd like to meet, he's like at the top of the list. Besides Hyper Jacob. Hey, Hyper Jacob. You probably don't even know it exists, but I know you exist. God, I'm creepy. I love it. You're streaming, right?
Yes.
Good. Do you have 2 viewers? You said. Do you still have 2? Right as I said.
I don't know. You might have to check.
Well, if anyone had heard that,
if
I'm
you pull
dead
up,
serious.
if you pull up the stream on your phone, I'll be able to find out. Because it flashes a notification on my screen when new people come into view.
I'll just assume that someone heard what I was saying and they're like, God, Cameron's creepier than I remember. I wonder, do people think of me as a creepy dude? I don't know. I assume some people don't, but at the same time, some people probably do. Do you think I'm creepy, Righteous?
No.
Good. Well, I guess when I want to be, I can be, but, you know, I don't always want to be. Little pots! Oh, little pots! Oh, dear.
I've made my character an old man.
Oh, look, a free submarine!
And I've made his name Rye.
You're an old man.
Yeah, I just don't have the old man facial features. Just the hair. I just have white hair. You know those like
I have
old
an old
people...
man costume.
Yeah.
Just me with like a bathrobe and sandals.
And a blue mask.
Yeah, it matches the robe. This is why I have different colors, people. Color coordination. Even for a colorblind person, that is important. I may not know blue from yellow, but I know which colors match which.
I know what colors match on the grayscale.
Yeah, I know which ones look nice. So screw you.
I mean, look, let's be honest. There's a difference between light gray and dark gray, so at least there's something to tell. Are we still in the same session?
Into this mountain. I am, yeah.
I'm in a public session.
Well, see if you can use that invite I sent you. Like
Hold
earlier.
on. I'm just see if I can. I have to. Yeah, I gotta use the invite. Hopefully it works. I used to do that to fuck with my friends. Like, we'd just be talking like, ooh, ringer in my rut. Ringer in my Like, fuck this.
I like Oni. He's super funny.
Shit.
I'll be back, Kaka. 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 Those cartoons are funny.
Rue. Ringer in my right.
Kaka. Kaka.
Hey,
Carmen
Carrot.
Electra.
Dude, we all know the best Dragon Ball character is Carrot Cake.
Kaka. Carmen Electra. I used to be able to do the Frieza voice they used. It's like, yes, who are you supposed to be?
It sounds like you're trying to do Joker while you're sick.
It shreds my throat like Akuma did.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, man, your Akuma didn't sound that good. I'm like, well, you do 3 takes of throat shredding Akuma, and you tell me how good you sound on the last take.
Same.
You know, he sounds like, I have no time for your pathetic display. I'm just like, like I want to die after every take. Doobie doobie doo ba doobie doobie doo ba doobie doobie doo ba. Please don't run me over. Bing. There are times where Strange kind of like is fast when he says a line,
so here's something
but I feel
funny.
like it doesn't really take away from it.
I
Just
still
hope it
have
doesn't seem
all
like
the
that
money
stupid.
I did the last time I was on.
Nice.
Do I still have all my contacts?
So your money transferred over too, I guess.
Yeah. In fact, I still have a mechanic too.
Not much I can do over
Oh,
here.
if I ever make a new character, I'm keeping this in mind.
Alright. Yeah, I just have to get a house and cars again, that's about it. Which is fine by me.
I'm okay with this. Why are you an old man again?
Because white was a hair option and I liked it.
I see.
If you want to, like,
Oh,
join
there's
me...
some young people with like gray hair, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You were saying?
I'm just calling him an old man because he has, like, white hair and he's wearing, like, you know, the mogul outfit in Smart.
Where are you going?
I'm going to a pay and spray because I'm stealing a car.
How about this? I'll meet you at the golf course.
Why? Because I'm old.
No, because I'm 6 miles away from the golf course.
Hey,
I'm up top, and it's going to take me a decade to get there, so... But anyway,
Alright, so...
yeah, it's something to think about, I guess.
So yeah, if you want to join me in the new character club, then feel free. Hey, what's up, Chris?
Oh,
Honeycombs is in the stream now.
Oh, Honeycombs. I think I like him, do I? Yeah, I like him. Oh yeah, I gotta do an announcer thing for him eventually, which...
Yeah.
You know me, I actually have like an actual problem with memory.
Yeah.
So if
Okay,
I end
so
up
here's
forgetting
something.
for
Last
like
night,
a week, if I don't do it for
Yeah.
like the first week, Honeycombs, message me again.
so I finally figured out how to use Audacity on my big screen computer. Yes, Cam likes you, Honeycombs. And then, because of that, I've been in a lot more of a recording flow.
Yeah, I think Honeycombs is like an announcer thing. If I do his first, he'll be the first one. He'll be the first one to have my newest audio equipment used on.
Yeah?
My new shotgun microphone and pop filter I had like collapsed onto a desk. So be honored, Honeycombs. I like being an announcer. It's fun. I get to do my regular voice,
Yeah.
which is fun. Because normally it's
So,
just, you know,
Which golf course are you at?
do stuff.
Is there more than one?
I'm not
there's...
at any of them. There's only one, and I'm not even close to it.
Where are you then?
You know where your beach house is?
Why are
I'm
you
up
all
in
over
that
there?
part. I'm in the
Alright.
boonies. I took an airplane here and I crashed.
Alright. Meet me at the clothing store that's like up the street from you then.
I literally just came from there.
Yeah.
Oh, daggone it. Alright. Fine. The discount store? Alright.
Yeah. I'll be there in 6 miles.
Alrighty.
Is I don't mind.
Here's another
I'm
thing.
old, I don't mind going a long drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Freaking.
Vlad is literally a lifesaver.
I'd assume. I mean,
Like,
he did
honestly,
Frank and Spider-Man for me
yeah.
a long time
So
ago.
the
when
guy
I couldn't.
we have playing Markiplier, I couldn't get in contact with, and when I did before, he said he would think about it, and then just never got back to me. But Vlad, because he's friends with him, was able to talk to him and get him to play Mark for me, so that's cool. So literally, if Vlad wasn't part of Markiplier versus Jacksepticeye 2, it probably just wouldn't happen.
You know what I like? I like that. I like how different the battles that we're working on are.
Yeah.
Like
How
your
so?
Jacksepticeye and Markiplier 2, and mine is Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate.
Yeah. Last thing, technically at the moment I'm juggling 3 battles. I'm working on getting everything prepared for Mark vs. Jack 2. I'm waiting to get the vocals back for Two-Face vs. Venom. And then there's the secret battle, which we're not going to say on this stream because I still don't want people to find out until it comes out. Even though it's kind of obvious.
I don't even know
Speaking
what
of buddy
it is.
actors, when do you need me to record? Okay, so Mark won't be recording it until like July. I can't record until I get my hair cut and I get my clamps for my green screen. And I don't even know what Vlad's situation is. He has to get like a costume and everything still. What were you saying?
Clamps. I said I don't even know what the secret battle is.
Christ. So, yeah, I have
That's
3
true.
battles. I have 3 battles that I'm working on currently.
I've been
Juggling them
pestering
all
this
at
piece
once.
of crap. He won't tell me. We're supposed to be friends, Righteous. Why don't you tell me?
Fun fact,
It's
I've
like I'll tell
actually
you. It's blank
only
versus
told...
blank. I'm like, for Final Fantasy VII?
Oh my god. I've literally only told like 2 people what the battle is, just because I trust them enough to not tell anyone. Speaking of secret battles, how secret is it? So secret that I actually don't want anyone to know. So there, some people know some of the characters, but I don't want anyone to actually know the battle itself, like the main matchup, until the battle comes out.
You think it's because like they'll talk crap or something, or?
No, it's because I want people to be able... So, you know when, like, someone gives a hint for a battle and it's obvious, but you don't get it, and then the battle comes out and you feel stupid?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want to do here. So, the hints I gave... The biggest hint I gave is that the battle has multiple characters, each played by 2 people. All of
So
them
it's
being
like
played by
2 actors that play multiple characters against each other?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, you and Vlad are the ones
Christopher
who
Lee
know.
versus Liam Neeson.
Jesus Christ. So basically, yeah, that's the only hint I've given. That and the audio hint, which most people have guessed the character. Dude, I had to cut out so much of that verse just so that people couldn't get who it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the character says the other rapper's name and everything.
No. Whose fault is that? It's almost like you wrote it.
I did write it, and I wrote it so that the voice actors, even in their characters, are talking about each other because it's something they would do. Because they're voice actors. Tell you what, though, I don't think I've given a hint today. But today's hint is planned to be that the voice actors actually know each other in, like, real life. So
To be fair, I'm sure a lot of voice actors know each other in real life.
That's what makes it a hint.
That's what makes it not a hint at all.
I mean, look, the hints are going to be vague starting off. And then, like, the day before it comes out, I'm going to rub in the most obvious hint ever.
Hey, stupid, look at this thing.
No, like, I want to be cheeky about it and everything.
I see.
It's not Seth versus JMB.
Although that would be funny. Could it be Seth versus Hyper Jacob?
Hyper Jacob versus Titanium 1208.
Ah, yes. I knew I'd finally be put up in the ranks with the greats.
While he's dissing you, you're like praising him in your lyrics.
I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord and Master.
I have no idea who Joey is.
I am not worthy. That'd be so stupid, wouldn't it? It'd be like, oh, what was it? ERB did one. It was like Thomas Jefferson and
Frederick Douglass, yeah.
yeah, wasn't like it was just
It's not.
one verse was literally just an apology, and
Yeah.
everyone hated that. Mine would just be praising him the entire time.
Funny thing is,
Be like, I suck.
Matt
You're
Florio
great. Take my money.
Matt Florio chiseled the battle. So that
Which one?
fucking, Frederick Douglass versus other dude. I just
I asked him
realized.
to. I put a YouTube comment asking him to do that for Frank and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I
Dude,
feel like that
he's-
was so long ago. If he says
Yeah.
something, most of it is going to be stuff I know at this point.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Hello.
Die! Hey, Roaches, guess who I'm dressed as?
I'm inside now. Who is?
You can't
Who
run
is
away
this
from me in
righteous you
there.
speak of?
You can't run away from me in there.
I have to turn the music
You
off.
can't. Is this your car, or is this just a random car you found?
Both.
Okay, then. Well, I hope you don't care about what I'm going to do with it next.
I very much do actually, because I don't have a garage.
Alright, fine. I'll just do it to this car that's hitting my bulldozer for no reason.
Alright, so I'm gonna take this character and dress him as a character that I'm set to play soon enough.
I just realized we're both. Is that the hint? That should be the hint. You dress up as someone that's in it.
I could do that, but if I dress up as someone who's in it, it's gonna be the one character that's already confirmed to be in it.
Probably. Someone just told me to screw my mama in the keister. I don't wanna.
That's the most fun
That's
place
gross.
to do it.
Your mama? Alright, have fun.
No. I call Alex Mama, so. But I also don't put it in her booty. Because I love her too much.
That's at least not without asking. Cause consent, kids. Learn it. Trust me, you're gonna need it.
Christ, dude, you make it sound so creepy.
I'm good at that. I've been told I'm good at that. Why is there a dumpster outside this clothing store?
I gotta figure out what I'm gonna wear when I play Jack. I thought my
I
room
don't
was
care if they're
this whole time,
shooting
but it
me.
wasn't.
You know what? I kind of care now.
My character looks like he's just tired of your shit.
I don't care how many times you kill me. I'll keep coming back.
Christ.
Don't. Righteous, are you still buying clothes and whatnot? Don't leave the store yet. I got a plan.
Swear to God.
Trust me, I am the man with the plan. The master plan.
I'm swearing
I'm Brian
to
Kendrick. Someone's
the
gonna get
multiple
that.
gods
Honeycombs
of
will
my
get that if
religion.
he's still here. Hey, yeah. What religion? Nerdism?
Yes, we have
We talked
multiple
about this
gods.
in Killing Floor.
We did. We have multiple gods in nerdism.
Well, one of them is Mario.
No, all of our gods are real people. Steven Spielberg is the main
Oh.
one.
Jesus Christ, of course he is.
Also, someone's gonna be offended because they're not gods, they're just people. Okay, so
By the way, this thing's being shoved super hard. Well, it's gone now. Goodbye.
this is probably the closest I'm getting.
I'm not
Cam?
kidding. I blew up a car against the door.
All right,
I
Cam.
meant to shove it
Honeycombs
in there.
has a question.
Uh-oh, here we go.
He asks, "Are you the Brian Kendrick?"
Yes, I am the Brian Kendrick. I'm the man with the plan! I like Brian Kendrick. He's cool.
I gotta.
Not as cool as
refine-
Gentleman Jack Gallagher, but still, because Gentleman Jack Gallagher, you would like him, right? Just he has an umbrella and a curly mustache.
Christ.
And his song is like...
Jesus.
It's hilarious. He's Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Come on. Or I think nowadays it's just Gentleman Jack because for some reason WWE hates last names. Or just two names in general. What happened to regular dudes with regular names? Hey Righteous, you still in there?
Yes.
Discount store is closed. Please come back later. Jesus Christ. I'm inside of you.
I'm gonna hope that's not true at all, actually.
It is. We are one. We are one.
We are farmers. Bum,
Nice
bum,
sweater
bum, bum,
vest.
bum. Thank you.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm re-getting the clothes that I was wearing a minute ago so I can save it as an outfit.
I see everything I like, baby. You wanna give me some? Come on, honey. Yeah! Backhand.
Just wanted to have...
Did I do something?
I am an old man!
I'm stuck.
Trying to live my old man life.
Oh, no!
1 second, I'll be right out.
Give me a second. I'm coming to get you. You come back here or I will get my tank and run you over.
I'm gonna run from you
Okay.
because I just wanted to buy clothes.
That's it. I'm getting the tank.
Imagine, this is the real Slippery Devil with a budget.
With a budget.
Because now I've got a budget.
I can afford tanks now, mister. I'm gonna blow you up to smithereens.
Christ.
You know what's funny? You're the only person that knows who the real Slippery Devil is. Like, that is watching or listening. I really
aware.
wish more people knew about him.
I mean,
If anybody has a
dude.
question about the real Slippery Devil in the comments, please ask below because I'll
gladly answer them.
Fucking just announce a Slippery Devil Q&A.
Oh, we can do it right now. If there's anyone watching at the moment, we can
Matter
do
of
one
fact,
right now.
do a fucking AMA on Reddit when you have 100 subs.
Jesus. Yeah, more like if, because I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
It'll happen. I assume it will. How long have you had a YouTube channel for?
About a year.
Okay then.
Give it a year, Cameron. Give it a
It
year.
took me... See, in 10th grade I was 14.
That'll do,
It took
Peg.
me about
That'll do.
4 or 5 years to get 100 subs.
Okay.
And then in the span of from then to now, 7 years, I've only gone up by like 100.
I see.
So yeah.
I want to get my tank, you stupid hussy.
Fucking Christ.
Jeez. Why is it so hard to get good service around here?
I just want to
So yeah, I'm excited for Strange vs. Fate to come out for people to actually be like, man, this is decent, instead of just giving me crap.
One day, like when I have like the costumes or whatever and I'm bored enough, I'm gonna make like videos to your rap battles. We just shot up by 2 viewers. Like legit, I will buy the fucking bucket head ass helmet to do like Dr. Fate video.
Dude, I seriously want a Dr. Fate helmet, and I bet they're uber expensive. There's probably some like cheap plastic one.
I mean, you can make some out of like
there is
craft
one.
foam.
Yeah, I'd assume. I
Okay,
bet you
so-
can make them out of like sheet plastic as well.
Probably. So, a lot of cosplayers make like costume parts out of foam and stuff, and cardboard.
Yeah, it seems, you know, it looks expensive, but it's not.
Well, that's the thing, because a lot of people, like, poppin' costume makers, like, have YouTube channels where they, like, and this is, like, a budget of $20. And I'm like, ha ha ha, I have that, I just don't have the patience to do it.
Well, I shoot one tank missile, and everyone flips their crap. Screw you, hot dog stand. I don't even like hot dogs.
I can't see
I
how
ain't eating
far away
anything. I
from
don't
you
know
are.
what it's made. I ain't eating anything if I don't know what it's made out of.
I ain't eating in this chair.
I ain't eating in this chair, and I ain't getting out of it either. You can't make me. Let's see here.
You can't catch me, coppers. I know you're right on my booty, but you ain't gonna get it.
Fucking Christ.
Imagine the real Slippery Devil, like, poking his head out of the tank, then getting out and just shaking his butt for the cops.
Why? Why are these
Nana
things...
nana boo boo, stick your head in doo-doo.
What, like...
You need to use the real Slippery Devil in a rap battle, Righteous. Put him
I
up
don't
against the
think I
most
want
annoying
to.
person you could think of.
Most annoying person I can think of, holy fuck, Andy Dick.
Yeah. Freaking Real Slippery Devil versus Cameron.
The real Slippery Devil versus Cody when he's mad.
Dude. Cody when he doesn't feel like speaking for some reason. There's a gang attack right next to me. I have a tank.
Alright, so now I can officially make the costume I was working on. Because I've saved my last
having fun with his right-handed doom. You said we shut up by 2 viewers, but no one's commenting. I'm heartbroken.
Yeah, it happens. I can have the stream of like 100 viewers, and no one would say anything unless they're like Honeycombs or like the Clan.
I was hoping to actually get a question about the Real Slippery Devil, but okay.
I wasn't.
Oh, yeah. To be fair, I don't think people would want to ask questions, considering what's come out of my mouth.
Yeah. The real Slippery Devil's gonna come to your house and show you what's what.
He's sticking his finger in your butt.
The real Slippery Devil butt. That makes it even worse.
Just a laugh.
Yeah.
He never goes above a laugh that has like... He always laughs with his mouth closed. He never goes above that. Like, he only laughs through his teeth. It's like...
That's fucking creepy, and I want nothing to do with it. In fact, I wanted to stay away from my children at all times. I feel like if we lived in the same area and I were to have kids, you would, like, only talk to them in that voice.
I'd be the creepy uncle. I'd be like Uncle Chester. Hey, kid, you want to pull my finger?
You'd be Uncle Devil.
Hey kid, you want to pull my finger? You get a prize.
I don't want to know what that prize is, and I don't want my kids to have it.
It's probably just a fart, to be honest. I've been holding it in all day.
Fuck.
Just for this moment.
Real Slippery Devil is the kind of guy to just hold in a fart all day, waiting for someone to pull his finger.
Christ.
Pull my finger! Pull my finger!
Alright, I'm now wearing my Jacksepticeye costume.
What's kind of weird is that the Real Slippery Devil also is kind of like Clayface, because he can mimic anything. It's weird, isn't it?
Okay, so...
That's how no one has ever caught him, because he's able to mimic his appearance, like anyone's appearance in his freaking
So this
background.
might just be because of the voice, but Slippery Devil seems like the type of person, when he gets mad, his mouth, or like his voice just drops like 7 octaves like him from Powerpuff Girls.
Well, you notice that does happen. Like, sometimes whenever I'm talking, I go straight from to, I'm gonna murder you. It's Christmas in July, soon enough. So, sit on Santa's lap.
Fucking Christ. I'm an adult,
be the
Santa
kind
will
of
let me
guy-
on his lap.
This Santa will.
This store is calling me a tool.
You're a liar.
I feel like the Real Slippery Devil is the kind of guy who would celebrate Christmas in July just because. Just to have 2 Christmases.
I shall be right back.
Well, dang.
Y'all want to hear a funny story? It's a long time ago. I was going to just sing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme, but I don't think anyone needs to hear that in this voice.
To be fair, I don't think people want to hear that voice, period. I just do it because it's funny. At least to me and some people I know. You know, people find it. I'm just here to entertain. That's what I'm here for. Hey, Beta. You know, if you're watching this, have a nice night.
Alex says
Or
hi.
day, depending on where you are.
Alright,
isn't?
so... Okay, I need to come up with a character who's a counterpart to the Slippery Devil, like a fucking sidekick or some shit.
Oh, what if it was like an arch enemy, like he's
You're weird.
like real slip,
Hey,
like the Real
Like-
Slippery Devil is pure chaos, while you can make someone that's pure order. Just the
Fucking-
antithesis.
So it's like, not necessarily that they're enemies, more or less, that they're like,
The
They're
real
like,
slippery devil just gets on his nerves.
yeah, they're friends, but one of them is sick of the other one, and you can never tell which is which.
Yeah, like, the order guy just has like all of his pencils in the right place, his paper is stacked nicely.
Fucking,
Then the devil just comes in and switches them all around.
yeah. Because the slippery devil has like a high-pitched voice, the fucking orderly dude has like a really low-pitched voice.
Yeah, and when he gets mad, it cracks.
So, like, actually, me, I need help.
I'm coming. Where are you? Depends on how far you are, Righteous. I was going somewhere. Okay, if you could stay alive for about 20 minutes, I think I can make it.
Well, I can't do anything, I'm stuck.
I'm coming. I got a tank.
Well, I'm gonna check my fucking, Discord then. So fucking...
Shit. You call the real slippery devil's towing service.
And by towing service, we mean we're gonna kill you.
And by towing service, we mean we're going to yank your toenails off.
Fuck, that's so shitty.
With an actual tow truck, by the way. It's shaped like a toe. People really should think about naming things before they get to the spelling part.
Jesus. Hold on, I'm looking up antonyms for slippery.
Orderly.
My god.
The real orderly angel.
Hold on.
Roa. We got Stir and Roa.
Fucking
I actually kind of
dry.
like that. If you
There
can
we
think
go.
of something, if
Fucking
you can think of something, I actually like that one.
either stable angel or secure angel. I think it's on nice. What were you saying?
Real secure angel. I liked orderly angel, honestly. Because
Yeah.
they're both slippery, orderly, they're like both 3 syllables.
Makes sense.
Why are our names so long? If you really think about it, my first name is Real. Nice to meet you. I'm Mr. Devil.
I know who you are.
I see you down there. You trying to go to the butt cave?
Devil, please, just help. Please,
Or you called Devil Man's towing service? I told you we'd bring the tow.
I don't. I'm scared. You know what? I think I'll just handle it myself. Thanks. Okay, bye.
You know how we get people out, right?
I don't need help anymore. I got myself out.
You said we kill people.
I'm gonna kill you.
I think I'm fine.
Get
Thank you.
back here.
I'm fine. Thank
I
you.
see you, little boy.
I just want a haircut.
Shave and a haircut.
My hair's just
I
gotten
do
too long.
haircuts,
My
too.
beard has grown
I'm a
out too
jack of
much.
all-
I just want a haircut.
I'm a jack of all trades.
You're not. You're not
Yeah,
at
I
all.
am. You could say I'm devilishly good at things.
Just because you have a poker deck filled with jacks doesn't make you a jack of all trades.
A what?
A poker deck where every card is a jack is just 52 jack cards.
Oh, all of my cards are jokers.
Christ, that makes it even worse.
And one ace.
Please.
I'd keep it on my sleeve, but I don't wear a shirt. Or pants.
I'm aware. We live in the same house.
Why do you not wear pants?
Because people wear pants.
What if,
I'm
like,
not
the
people.
angel and devil are just brothers, but they ended up wildly fucking different?
Yeah, you were destined to be a piece of crap.
Yeah. Like, one of them cared about school, the other one just wanted to fuck with people. I don't find this funny in the slightest.
Real slippery devil, did you drop out of school?
No. I finished.
Surprisingly.
It's like,
I also went to college.
wait, you went to college?
Yeah, I've got a master's degree in child psychology.
God, no! I don't want that in my life! My children don't need that!
Can I draw a picture of the real slippery devil holding up a certificate? He's
Dude,
got,
we
like,
just need
he's
a
still ain't
picture.
wearing any clothes, but he's got the graduation
Okay,
hat on above
so-
his combat helmet, and
so
he's
does-
holding a certificate in child
Does the
psychology.
slippery devil have horns to accompany his devilness?
Yeah, he has like horns coming through the helmet.
Jesus.
You gotta throw up the horns for the devil.
I would
fun
love
fact.
it. It's just like,
Yes.
I'm gonna use my major on this one.
wait, you went to college?
Yeah,
What could someone like you major in?
child psychology.
Makes it even creepier. So here's
With a
something cool to
minor
think
in
about.
doctorism.
Here's something kind of entertaining to think about. If you really wanted to, you can make Sam from Uncharted.
Oh yeah. Sam.
Yeah, because the one of the hairstyles, I forgot what it's called. Hold on, let me find it. Slicked is just his hair.
Let's see if I can stick this in here. Ain't the first time I've asked that question, I bet.
I'm aware of that one too.
I did, I stuck it in there. You wanna
went-
see what I can do?
I don't. Please just let me get my hair cut.
Did you hear that?
I saw it. Please.
You better hurry, boy. Clock's ticking. I'm gonna see you eventually and shoot you.
Alright, look, I will happily let you end my worthless short life if you let me get my hair cut. Like, calmly, please.
What?
All I want is to have a nice haircut, to trim my beard a little. And you're making that really difficult for me.
I'm good at that. I've had people say I'm good at that.
So would the real
Do you
slippery
see
devil...
like the tank thing itself?
No, I just see the explosions from it. So
It's
would the...
inside the door. Like it's sticking into the door.
So would the real slippery devil just have, like, fucking red-ass hair, because he's a devil?
I don't know, you never really see it because he wears a helmet all the time.
What if he's just, like, bald under the helmet?
I mean, he might be.
What color should my hair be?
I don't know. These people won't stop shooting my tanky wanky.
Oh god, don't say it like that, that's terrible.
Don't tell me what to do.
I wanna be blonde. I heard.
Don't tell me what to do.
Just breaks everything.
Fucking Christ. We just need, like, a picture of just the real
I have a
slippery
drawing
devil.
of him, but I'll have to draw it like a new one to accommodate like everything.
Yeah. We just need, like,
Let's see if this hits anything.
please. Please. I just
Do
want
you
a
see
haircut.
the explosions?
Yes, I see the explosions. I see the fucking tank outside. I see military vehicles.
They can't do jack. Ooh, I could go for some Los Santos jeans. Just kidding, I don't wear pants.
Which one of us was born first? Like out
I
of these
feel like
characters.
Real Slippery Devil would be the younger one, don't you?
Yeah?
Doesn't it seem like he'd be the younger version?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Because, I don't know.
I mean-
Sometimes the old... Yeah, I guess, because the older ones do tend to be the more, well-behaved
Same.
ones.
It depends on what you want to go for. Do you want to go for he looked at his older brother and was like, nah, I'm gonna not do that? Or...
I kind of want to go for the idea of, because he wasn't raised as fucking, fucking you have to do this, you have to do that heavily. Like, it's a situation of he would act however he wanted, but I would get scolded for that, so I didn't really have an option. And I have to
Yeah.
be, and now I'm orderly because that's how I was raised to be.
And you know how I was raised?
To be, please, slippery devil. When you want your haircut, I let you. Except you don't get haircuts. You don't have fucking hair.
Because I'm
Bald!
actually my hair's shaven. I don't like having long hair. It curls up in my horns.
I don't like having long hair either. We can agree on this, at least. There we go. Let me change up my hairstyle a little bit more, because right now I have a loose swept back and it's pretty long. You know, I'm trying to go for something that's kind of short.
Fight. Do you want the Slippery Devil to sing a song for you?
No. God, no. Not in the slightest.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
This is a classic from my childhood.
Okay, so if I really wanted to,
Aw.
I could actually make Jacksepticeye's hair in this game.
Probably. I was
'Cause,
trying
like-
to cigarette there, damn it.
And then the cop stopped you.
Oh, you stopped me because you talked over me.
I'm scared of the idea of the Slippery Devil singing, so. Alright, continue. I'm just gonna, like, fuck around with my hair.
I need someone to talk while I'm focusing.
Yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss for a while. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, you lose me, then you'll be left alone. So baby, telephone and tell me I'm your all.
This is not okay, and I'm not okay with it.
Ah,
Please, I just...
everything's on fire. Better hurry before your Papa burns alive.
I
Okay,
don't
seriously,
think,
everything's on fire.
I don't think
Everything
the
in there is
Slippery
on
Devil
fire.
can burn alive.
I'm talking about your barber, not me. I ain't worried about me. I'll just come back. You can't
I
kill the
don't
devil.
see fire, so...
I do. You can't kill an essence of chaos unless there is no chaos, and there's always gonna be chaos.
Because you cause it.
Yeah, exactly. So you
I'm
can't kill me. You
I'm
can't
trying
kill
to
me,
get
you can't
rid
do
of
it.
all of the... I like how smudge is a fucking lip option. And if you make the opacity hard enough, it could just be the Joker, pretty much. Alright, there we go.
Pretty sure during Halloween they have legit, like, Joker face paint.
Oh, I know.
Boy.
I didn't even do that. That thing just exploded on contact for some reason.
You know what? I used to tell
You
my
don't
mom...
believe me.
I used to tell my mom, no, you don't gotta abort the new baby. I like the idea of Mr. Devil being born. And then this happened. And now I regret my words.
Mr. Devil being what?
Born.
Dude, my freaking tank's about to
So-
blow up in a second anyway.
What if, like, Slippery Devil and Orderly Angel aren't our real names? They're just, like, basically nicknames based on how we act.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Get back here, boy.
What would our
I'm
fucking
gonna
real
blow
names
you
be?
up.
John.
Just both of them?
No, just you.
Why would I
Think
be
of the
John?
most bland, random, like, most bland and normal name you can think of. John.
Yeah, you're right. What would Slippery Devil's real name be?
Kafukuka.
Can't just fucking be simple.
Nope, I'm not good at that.
If you want to avoid getting depressed.
See? I blew up the tank, and then I got out, stood up, and then fell over, burning alive. Get out
Wait,
of
the
my way,
Slippery
lady.
Devil can burn? I figured he was, like, unburnable. Because he's
He
from the
can
depths of
burn?
hell himself.
Thing is, he can burn, it just doesn't hurt. He was just taking a nap.
He just does it for fun.
Yeah, he dies for fun.
How's everybody doing?
Leave it.
Oh God, please.
Up in the club tonight. Is this a no smoking zone, lady? She just told me to not be a dick. That's gonna make me want to be a dick.
Fucking. Why do I feel like Slippery Devil was given a name at birth that he fucking hated, so he changed it when he became of age?
All I seem to do is cover the shifts of girls who've been sacked for getting.
His real name is Bob, but he hated it.
Fucking Bob.
It's Bob or Joe?
Fucking Robert Joe.
Robert Joe.
And that's why he hated it, because he hates the idea of someone having two names in one. And so he legally
Yeah,
changed
so I
it to
got
whatever that weird
food.
shit you said earlier was.
What? Gefucka?
Yeah.
Let's
But
go
I-
with gefilte.
But I still call him Bob anyways, because I know it pisses him off.
Tell me when you're done shopping, 'cause I want to rip this girl's eyeballs out.
I don't know why I even bother. I barely make enough to buy weed, let alone.
You know, I agree with you. She's annoying me, and I don't like it.
Honey, if
But-
you want weed, come by the devil's place.
Oh
I've
God, I don't
literally
want.
got a farm up on the top right of the map.
I don't think I want to go.
You've been there.
I don't think I want your weed, Mr. Devil.
I've got glue on the. I got glue strapped to my helmet. You want to sniff it?
Rob, please stop. You're embarrassing me.
My name's not Rob. It's Kafetka.
Our mother deemed you as Robert, therefore I will deem you as Robert.
My mother was a skank.
I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong, but she still named you Robert, and I'm gonna respect that.
No. I always liked you better. On Christmas, they gave you a magic hammer, and all
Tell
I got
me-
were lousy socks.
Because socks were the only thing you couldn't fucking
We just know
break.
the sizes on the rack.
And
I
then you
can break
still
socks
broke 'em.
easily. Why do you think I'll wear them? See, I'm literally wearing socks right now. Socks and sandals. You know why? Because that's crazy.
So I'm setting myself up to be like in the colors of what are pureness, which
Okay,
are
I'm just-
blue and white.
I'ma just kill this lady. 1 second. Let me go outside.
Let me just like
Excuse me, Mr. Tank.
Wiggle.
let me just like finish putting on clothes, and then you can kill her all you want.
think-
I just want to look nice for the family
I
reunion.
just want to buy pants.
So like,
Oh, that's a cop car. I don't want to go that way.
when are you gonna actually come to one of the family reunions?
Whenever Mom and Dad die.
But we're all immortal. That's how you have powers. That's how I have powers.
Eh, they'll die someday, I know it. I pray about it every day to myself.
Fucking Christ, dude.
Get out of my way, lady, or I'll kill you too.
Oh, there's the white tie.
I wouldn't wear most of this myself.
Kill it. Call the cops all you want. Police brutality don't work on me.
All
Only
right.
works on black people.
I'm
You
streaming.
want to go?
man.
I've got a knife.
Hey, I don't think people will be mad. I think people will agree.
Okay, so here's
I
the
got
thing,
a
right?
switchblade with
I
your
will say
name on it.
things as
You're
characters,
back.
right? Specifically as said characters, right? Things that the characters would say or whatever. And then people get offended. I'm like,
stab you
dude,
in
it's
the
not me,
butt?
it's the character. I'm just being the character. Like, I'm doing what I have to do as a voice actor.
This is a very nice car.
I'ma steal it.
I'm gonna check these hats and see if I can get a nice Fedora.
Have you seen the front door?
I have. and
Like recently?
I'm trying to ignore it. I'm trying to ignore the fact that
Johnny, yes, Papa.
I'm
Eat sugar? No, Papa.
You all can't beat my switchblade. I've got a good switchblade.
you know what I just realized?
I
I have extra cigarettes on my helmet.
I'm a
Alright.
fugitive, am I?
Let
Or
me get
you're
the
gonna
other
be.
Fedora.
Ow! How did they get in? I put a barricade of cars in front of the front
Cam,
door.
who do I look like right now? Who do I look like I'm dressed as?
Michael
Enjoy.
Jackson from Billie Jean.
Not Billie Jean, Smooth Criminal,
No.
but yes.
I haven't seen the music video in like 10 years. Are you done shopping? Can I kill this lady with my switchblade?
Hold on, let me just save this outfit.
1 second. I need to do something.
Alright, I've saved the outfit.
You
can
see
do.
what I was doing?
I was,
Yeah,
Co-
I'm just
oh
gonna,
wait,
I'm
I
just gonna-
I was like,
I need to do something real quick. Yeah. Stab him in the crotch!
I wanted to leave before you did that. I'm not a. You've locked me in here, and now I'm
I'm
associated
good at
with
that,
you.
aren't I?
you people.
You glad this glass is here? Or I'd rip through to kill you.
I'm running from you. You scare me.
Mother
Mother was right to. Rob, what did you do?
What did I do?
Come to where I am. Come to where I am,
I'm
please.
good. I'm gonna go climb this crane.
I see a dead woman on the ground.
Does she have a hole in her tuchus?
I can't tell. She's not even on the ground. She's floating like a half an inch above it.
Oh, then, yeah, I probably did that. One of my favorite ways to kill people is to switchblade them in the butt.
Robert, you are terrifying, and I don't want to associate with you.
Too bad. When you're related to someone, they
Alex.
can't help but associate them.
I am going to I'm going to buy a house, Robert, and you are not welcome to my house.
I'm gonna get in anyway.
I would
Or I'm gonna
prefer,
burn it to the ground, either
I
one.
would prefer if you didn't do either of those.
You notice I'm
actually.
wearing a spiked gauntlet on one wrist and a freaking wristwatch on the other one.
I haven't noticed that.
I can tell what time it is and poke your eyes out.
I don't want you to do either of those, though.
Jeez, dude, I am high up.
I'm buying an apartment for $87,000.
That's sick, I think. Is it?
Alright, just don't move. I'm coming to you.
Da 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 da.
Now, how do you feel? God, why do you wear socks with sandals?
Accomplished.
God,
I feel accomplished. Oh yeah, I did this. You can tell by the hole in the buttocks.
Morse Mutual.
Eh,
We're here to help.
drink your own
I
blood.
think we can handle that.
so it turns out I already had the tinsel apartment.
Look at my heart-shaped boxes.
It's like, why are you wearing a scarf?
It's cold.
You need something, huh? One of your
I'm
rides?
just gonna
Let me know.
get my car
I'll bring
and
it
leave.
back.
People say I'm chaotic. You got a hole in your back.
Do you want to ride home, Robert? Are you gonna answer the question?
I wasn't listening. I was reading stuff. I
you
just
like-
got my issue of Playboy Crazy Monthly.
Would you like a ride home, Robert?
Yes. Take my
Alright.
back seat.
Do you want to go to your actual house, or do you want to go back to your clubhouse?
Club.
Alright, let me just...
He just pushes the window up and down over and over.
Please, you're going to kill my engine.
I'm good at that.
I would prefer if you...
I notice I say that to a lot of things. I'm good at that.
Oh, you're good at saying you're good at that. Yeah, I'm good at that.
Yeah, I'm good at that too.
maybe I
I've
should
been
live-
told.
Maybe I should go live with my mother again. At least I wanted to see you.
You think I won't come by and see you?
I do. I very much think that, actually. In fact, I'm fairly
is the-
sure the only reason you act like this is because our mother didn't raise you.
How would you feel if you weren't raised by your own parents?
Hello, what's up, Ryan? I don't know.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have become an agent of chaos.
Yeah, you would.
I think you're making assumptions about me, Jonathan. I mean, Robert.
I think it's easy to make assumptions when you're freaking stupid.
I'm Jonathan. Why did I call you Jonathan? Okay, I'm gonna go back home.
Because you're stupid, remember?
I had higher grades than you in class. Memes are
That's
like,
because I never
still
tried,
don't-
because I'm chaotic.
I still don't get how you graduated.
Hey, I'm the one here with a master's in child psychology.
I also don't know how you got that. Because I know for a fact just how you dress. You're not allowed within 100 feet of a child. That's why we live here.
I also
What's
have
up?
a lot of minors.
You what?
I have a lot of minors. Like majors and minors. You know?
I'm fairly sure that's not how
Degrees.
you wanted me to interpret that.
Nope.
In fact, I'm fairly sure you said that's why I interpret that in a poor way.
I'm gonna huff some glue now. And watch loads of hentai. Mm. You know why?
No, and I don't want to know either.
'Cause I'm a real slippery devil.
So I bought an apartment that's like down the street from your clubhouse, and it's literally the same as my beach house. Oh hey, Princess Robot Bubblegum is on.
I know, I'm watching it. I said hentai.
Makes sense.
This guy's head looks like a butt.
I'm gonna go take a shower.
You should.
I feel like you should too, but telling you is pointless.
I don't know if there is a shower in this clubhouse.
I don't think so.
Ah!
Would the Slippery Devil shower if he had to?
He only does when he wants to.
And he never wants
Believe
to.
it or not, believe it or not, no matter how chaotic he is, he's actually very good with hygienics.
I want to be chaotic and, you know, ridiculously evil, but I'm going to be clean while I'm doing it. Wear any clothes all the time, so I kind of need to take a shower every now and then. If I didn't, I'd look a lot worse.
I don't think you can get any worse.
Look who's talking, Whitey.
You wear socks and sandals.
You wear a suit and a fedora.
Yeah.
A fedora! All you're missing is a neck beard!
Well then, if that's how you feel, I will just hang up my fedora for a while, and then let
This
you
is
form a
this
opinion
is
about
the
me then.
real this is the
Is
real
that
rap
chapter
battle
in
you
this
should be
house,
doing.
Watch Slippery
This is
Devil
the secret rap
versus
battle.
fucking...
This is the secret rap battle you've been talking about.
No, don't tell
You've been leading
don't tell
pe-
everyone my
you've been
plans to
leading
make...
people.
Don't tell everyone my plans
You've
to
been
make
leading
Slippery
people off
Devil
the
versus
trail.
Orderly Angel.
Like, dude, you've been freaking like just
I've been trying to
what
hide
is
it,
it?
and you fucked it up. Now everyone
yeah,
knows.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good at that.
Now everyone knows. Well, guys, it's ruined. Sorry. This is the rap battle. Me and Cam just doing these voices.
It's not gonna happen now!
Can't,
What the heck just happened? I didn't
Gotta
press
cancel the secret battle
anything!
now.
Well, shoot. Oh well. Don't worry, guys. I'm sure
You weren't looking forward to it anyway.
No one looks forward to my battles. Alright.
Oh, I do.
So I'm going to go to a pay and spray. And I hope you respect my
Would that
decision
not be?
to say a million miles away from you, Robert.
Would that not be the weirdest thing
Is that
if
Cam
I
and
talked
Justin Buckner?
my
It's not.
what?
Someone says that Cam and Justin Buckner. No.
Who's
peop-
Justin Buckner?
JMB.
Oh, I just don't know his real name. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Wait, were they
parodies.
guessing if the secret battle was me and them?
No. I think when he said Cam, he meant
Oh.
BGRB. Like everyone does.
Oh,
I think
Stop
he was
everyone.
also
You're
asking...
so cute.
I think if he was also asking if we, in this video right now, are Cam and Justin Buckner, which we are not. We're Cam and Matthew Paul. Cameron Hendricks, not Greeley.
Frickin'.
What's wrong with her now?
You know, Cameron Greeley, he does voices too, but they're only okay.
I don't think he does like many voices actually. Because if you watch through his videos, most of the time he's doing his voice or just a deeper variation of his voice.
Wait, is this a chick? Oh my god! This is more chaotic than I could ever hope to achieve.
How so?
I couldn't tell if this was a man or a woman.
It's not Cam Greeley though. This is Titanium 1208.
Where's the issue
I don't
here?
know,
I don't even sound like the man.
He
Holy
doesn't.
crap.
Your voice is too
Yeah.
deep.
This girl... Okay, I thought this was a guy from the back because they have a ponytail. You know what I mean? And they're doing pull-ups. I'm like, hey there, good looking. And then I look, I turn my camera and I see it has a pair of boobs and I'm like, ew. She also... Ow! She punched me! I'ma break your face for punching
Wouldn't
me!
punch you. You're fucking creepy.
Your next singlet wearing, gauze wearing piece of crap! No one else can put gauze in their pants but me!
Fuck.
I'm coming over there to the Total Gym and I'm gonna rip you all apart! Put down the barbell, cause I'm your new exercise. This guy's wearing the smallest Speedo I've ever seen.
I don't
Your
believe
butt
that
is
because I've
eating
seen
your
you wear
underwear.
smaller. It's traumatizing.
Bro, you want to do this, honey? I know I want to, whether you want to or not. I'm aiming for the chest because I know it's a weak spot for the ladies.
This is why Mother disowned you.
Mother disowned me because she only raised you.
This doesn't bring up the point that you are an agent of chaos.
Truth. It's kind of what I do. You can't have order without chaos. You can't have freaking destruction without creation. Vice versa.
You can in fact have order without chaos.
No, people are always going to make chaos. It's just how people work.
Wait, you remember I was mentioning Oni and G earlier? You know, you ever watch his gaming channel?
No.
Well, he has a series where he plays like GTA PC online with like a character.
Yes.
Like it's modded and everything, and it's super funny. And this is the character model they used.
I just killed Motifo. Oh no! Chopper, your guns are nothing against me.
Okay, I
Oh
really
my god, I'm actually
get, like-
taking a lot of bullets.
I want to get like I want to wait for like my animator to be able to work again, and then just make a whole animated segment based around the Slippery Devil and the Orderly Angel.
I'd like to see him draw the characters, because it'd be really funny. I could probably do it, if I get enough time. If you like message me on Discord in the morning, hey, draw the thing, I'll do it. It'll be like both of them on one page, and it's like one of them's like super stern, the other one's
I
like...
feel like if I straight up texted you draw the thing, I would get a picture of a rock monster back.
You'd get a picture of... Well, probably a penis, honestly.
What's the difference between a penis and the Slippery Devil?
One of them has a flat head.
Shit!
I love that of all the comments that you've got, none of them are about the real Slippery Devil, like, at all.
I think people are scared. Someone asked why you're watching hentai, so...
I mean, why not? Agent of Chaos! Get off me, home foul! Don't you dare, firearms are not allowed. Don't you dare make me get out my gun! I got out my gun!
You got it out before you even said it, and I could see it when you said, "Don't make me get out my gun." I
You
just...
made me do this, and now I'm gonna go away and sail on my pretty boat.
I just wanted to think... I had the thought that maybe we could patch up our relationship and be good brothers.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm king of the world! Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Would you like to go
This was
bike
my
riding
boat.
with me?
This was my boat once, and then I got it stranded on the beach. No one was able to get it back in the ocean.
I can see why.
It's a big boat. Even Jaws couldn't eat it. Obelix, why are you shooting me? I've literally done nothing.
That's for starting out the punching earlier.
I didn't do nothing. You were fighting first.
Yeah,
You
I
pulled
was...
out your gun.
Okay, I fought someone who punched me, and then you decided I'll join, and then you punched me instead of him.
I literally screamed, Agent of Chaos.
Yeah.
It's what I do. I hear a chainsaw for some reason, but I don't see any. Who's got a chainsaw and they're
That's
hiding
not
it
a
from me?
chainsaw. That is a boat.
You bet. I really
is the
like
sound of a boat.
chainsaws.
That is the sound of a
They're
boat.
one of my favorite things.
Robert, please.
Chainsaws are one of my favorite things, aside from lollipops and ice cream sandwiches.
Look at ice cream sandwiches.
Do you like ice cream
please.
sandwiches? To be fair, I think this is only a one-seater.
I believe it is, but I'm gonna try to get on anyways.
Well, poop.
Yeah, it's a one-seater.
Well, poop.
I'll be right back. I have to check a thing.
I'll go grab a car. How's everybody doing? You having fun watching the stream? I know I'm having fun being here. This hot dog stand looks nice and toasty. I'm gonna add some fire. Oh, this car looks nice. I'm gonna steal it. Open up, buttercup. Does that even count as a rhyme? You're technically rhyming up with up. I don't know anymore. Anybody got any ice cream sandwiches? It's hot. Or suckers. I like suckers. Dum Dum Pop specifically. I'm a Dum Dum for Dum Dum.
So,
Who wants to play some volleyball?
I got a message back from the person playing.
Told you I'd get a call. Get in, homeboy.
I should have assumed it'd be red.
Duh. Now we're gonna take this baby to the
I like
roller
how
coaster.
you barely wear anything, but everything you wear is red and black, except for the socks with your sandals.
Yeah. And my helmet's brown. Oh, 1 second.
I don't think the helmet comes in black, does it?
Agent of Chaos.
Robert, please.
I had to break his legs, okay? He was
I
annoying
have
me.
no arrests on my record.
No, I was waiting for you to be like, what did he do to annoy you? I'm like,
Exist. He was doing more push-ups.
if I ever do, okay, if we ever do an April Fool's battle together, it has to be Real Slippery Devil versus Real Orderly Angel.
Fucking Christ. Fuck April
Cool,
Fool's
that'd be
battle.
perfect.
I'll make it a legitimate battle.
I don't
that
know.
shit.
Thing is, the problem is I don't think people will get the joke.
They don't
You know
have
what I
to.
mean?
They don't have to get the joke. It's fun for me. Keep in mind, every battle I've ever made that is legitimately me versus another person who is someone I work with, who most people wouldn't know.
Yeah.
No one gets the jokes. They just listen to the flow and think it sounds good or bad or whatever the opinion they form.
Why does this guy want to beat me up? Okay, fine. He looks like Spencer from iCarly anyway. Alright, Spencer. Time to meet Crazy Steve. Ooh, I want to go too.
Fucking Christ! I just watch you kick
He
the
asked
dude.
for it. Is it coming back? It's coming back! I can't wait! I can't wait to ride it! What are you doing?
I figure the quickest way to get rid of you is to not be around you anymore.
Hey, brother!
It didn't. It ran me
It brought
over.
you back to me!
I was
It
in
was
first.
meant to be. How's it going? You wanna ride next to me? Be like a family photo.
Oh god.
Aww.
It's just like when we were kids and mom made me ride everything with you because you wanted to.
And because I really like roller coasters and Ferris wheels and chutes and ladders. I always spelled shoot the wrong way though.
I can imagine a game of shoots and ladders. Someone's like shoots, and then you just pull out an actual gun and shoot them.
Oh yeah, that's how he spelled it.
I assume there's only one. It's like two ways to spell shoot.
He could probably find multiple ways.
Yeah, America!
Like he spells it with like a long U.
Raise your hands, brother.
I'd rather not.
Aww. Wuss,
Fact.
you're too scared. You're doing it because you're a wussy, baby.
You know what's another voice I can do and people won't, like, around me won't stop asking me to do it?
What?
I've been doing Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, I could imagine why people would like ask you to do it. It's a pretty good voice. It's an amazing one. If I had the...
Have you heard me do Winnie the Pooh?
I have. I've told you I'm upset that you can do it because I can't do it.
I would like some honey, please.
And then you... And then you gave... And then you gave me a tip as to how to do it, and I tried doing it, and it still sounded like shit.
There's a gang attack around here. I'm gonna go find it. Ow.
It's
Okay,
like,
maybe not right
I'm
now
at the
because
point
everything
where
hurts.
I know how to do it, I just can't.
Oh, you just need to lower your voice and get very scratchy in the throat, really.
Yeah, you've
It's
told
like
me this
talking
before.
With a loud whisper.
You've told me this before, and whenever I do it, it's... Okay, whenever I try to do the Winnie the Pooh voice, I end up doing Herbert the Pervert.
Do you have any honey?
Okay, so if I were to try to rope you into doing Winnie the Pooh versus Yogi Bear, would you say no?
Probably not. Frickin' my mom, I asked her, do you have any battle ideas for us to do? You know, just asking.
Yeah.
And she said Winnie the Pooh versus Smokey the Bear.
Oh my god. Why Smokey?
I'm like, that actually sounds awesome.
It
Because
sounds...
they're both bears, they both live in the woods, they both, you know. I like the idea. And then there's like, she even thought up a line and it was like, she said pretty much you have to make Winnie the Pooh into a gangster. I was like, I'd have him be nice for like the first few lines, and then he just goes straight, I'm gonna burn down your woods, boy.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna burn down your woods.
Hello.
You can't touch my home, it ain't go
Fucking
woods.
imagine just a line from Yogi Bear. Or not Yogi, Smokey. Only you can prevent shitty Disney attacks.
only you can prevent, I don't know, bad animation. Fool.
So I'm
Funny
drinking...
thing is, Yogi Bear had a commercial in the 90s where he was like trying to rap, and then he was just like, I can't do this. So he has experience.
Yeah. I think
He
Winnie the
just
Pooh
thinks
versus
it's
Yogi Bear has been done
demeaning.
before. I just didn't think it was that good.
Yeah.
Fun
Respect
fact,
the
actually.
forest. It's like protect the trees.
Fun fact, when I was younger, I tried to do Yogi Bear versus Big the Cat. Back when I was 13.
Hi, I'm Big the Cat. Boggy.
I had it written and everything, and I was gonna do it myself, and then it pissed me off. Because at the time I didn't know how to record properly.
Serious.
Hey,
Did you have
boo-boo.
something? Were you gonna
Give me my
be Big the
picnic
Cat?
wrap basket. Yeah, I was gonna do both voices.
Hey, hey, boo boo. Could you give me the picnic basket? Hey, I remember Billy and Mandy was so funny. He's right, Boo Boo. We bears are very afraid of caves. Why are we so lame, Yogi? I'm like, Jesus, they've really gone downhill.
Cam, or not
And Yogi
Cam,
was like super big.
Robert, can you find where I am on the map?
Should I try? Why?
Because it would
Wait,
be,
that rhymed unintentionally.
it'll be entertaining.
Unintentional rhymes are the funniest. I'll be right there, just 'cause you made me chuckle. You know, it's funny. I feel like no one would have material for him, but he would probably be super fun to write for.
Who?
The real Slippery Devil.
Yeah? I mean, I don't know, he has some
You can get
material.
away with anything. You can get away with anything with him. It's like someone using, I don't know, I feel like whenever
Do you
someone
know where
uses
I'm
Bill
at on the
Cipher or
map,
Discord, they
even?
don't really...
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm
Alright, just
coming.
making sure.
Have you ever, one time someone suggested to me, you should do Discord versus Bill Cipher, and I'm like, everyone has done that.
Yeah?
I love Discord and Bill Cipher as much as the next guy, but everyone's done that. I want to be the channel that does, you know, slightly different things, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Alright,
Like,
look
you know...
up at the building, and then just look up at the building from the front and let me know what you see.
There's a guy wanting to beat me up for no reason. If you can't take the heat, don't challenge me to a fight.
Why would you start a gang war?
I didn't start a gang war. My message don't even say I did.
Someone else is
and I
trying to
just
fight you.
helped you.
Fucking, I would love to do just like a whole movie with like Slippery Devil and Orderly Angel. And they spend the entire time arguing and fighting pretty much. But then like when it's, like, you know those buddy cop films, they hate each other and then something really big happens and they help each other and then they stop hating each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they start to adapt a little bit to each other's personalities.
I think that could be a really cool thing where like they hate each other, but they'll still fight for each other. It's one of those like brotherly friendships.
I'm the agent of chaos now!
No, you're just dead and kind of stupid.
Joke's on you, I can swim.
Joke's on you, I would have done it with a tractor.
Well, I didn't have a tractor and that was your car.
That's if I can find a tractor. Ain't my car, I stole it from someone else. You know why?
Because you're a real slippery devil.
'Cause I'm a real slippery devil.
Oh,
You
hold
gotta
on.
add the
You're right, I have to correct
at
myself.
the end.
Because you're a real slippery devil. Mmm.
Just like eating chocolate chip
Just have-
ahoy cookies. The chewy version specifically.
Oh, good. We agree on that at least.
You know, you can actually kind of hear the Winnie the Pooh voice when I do Real Slippery Devil.
Yeah. And you can
Whenever
hear my
I
voice
end a
when
sentence,
I do Orderly Angel, because I don't... Okay, so, I don't know where
You're
this
just
voice
doing a
came from.
monotonous version of your voice, really.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, what else would you do for an orderly man? I could deepen it a little bit more. I could basically do Batman.
Stop that. I
In my
can do
mind-
Alucard from Hellsing. Where's that?
In my
or I could do
mind-
the TFS version.
The orderly angel isn't like... I don't know. He's not boring, he just has a monotone voice because of how he was raised. He was raised to basically be calm, and that's about it.
I found a car, buddy. Hey, bro. Ow.
Please tell me you saw that.
I did. Did you mean to jump into the ocean like a dolphin?
No. I dove in, and then my body's like, nope.
I can go get my scuba gear if you need
So,
it.
okay. You know when I get, like, really confused? You remember when I was talking about my certification in the GTA video on Righteous Gaming? I was like, it's certification! And my voice got all high-pitched.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what Orderly Angel yells like. Like, he keeps his voice, like, down and stuff. But when he's, like, mad or confused or upset, he gets that really
It
high-pitched voice.
cracks.
Yeah. Like, because he speaks calmly so much, his voice isn't used to yelling. Somewhat. Yeah. I wanted to go to McDonald's so we could have a date, but if he picks us up at McDonald's, can I have, like, my normal? Would he be willing to do that? You know what my normal is, right? Actually, my normal actually doesn't always have the cheeseburger. When I was younger, my normal was just the nuggets, fries, and drink. The cheeseburger just was an add-on because I'm a fat boy.
Only one way out, Mr. Orderly.
Yeah.
So is your name Mr. Angel
Okay.
or Mr. Orderly?
Technically, because I call you Mr. Devil, I guess it would be Mr. Angel.
I was about to say, am I Mr. Devil or Mr. Slippery? Because I feel like Real is a tag on, and Slippery would be like the
What?
first name.
Yes. Okay, so I feel like you would be Mr. Devil, but then you would also, but then people would also call you Slippery as a first name.
Jeez, my throat hurts.
Oh, where are we going?
Ow!
I can't wait till I have to record Deadpool and Dante, and I'm so used to doing the voice, and we'll be like,
Hang on. Robert, please, where are we
gonna
going?
have to do Dante's voice. Probably not gonna sound like that, but
I'm
it's
scared
just
and
off the top of my head.
confused.
And then I'm going to be Deadpool!
I'm scared and confused, Robert. Where are we going?
Super awesome anti-hero Deadpool!
My God.
I'm
Fucking-
like way better than a Punisher.
Here's a good rap battle: Deadpool versus Waluigi.
I did want to do Deadpool versus the Mask,
Yeah.
but I did Deadpool and Dante when I could only use footage from video games, so all that, and now that it's finished, I just want to use it.
I mean, if you want to write Deadpool versus Mask but don't reuse characters, I can just put it on my channel.
Yeah.
I have to like learn more about Mask anyways, because I have to write it Joker versus Mask for Joker versus.
I like the Mask.
Yeah, the Mask is cool. I just don't know much about him.
He's played by Jim Carrey. You
He was
gotta
also
know
played by
Cuban
Rob Paulson.
Pete. Yeah, in the cartoon. This has been a public service announcement. Also, a big inspiration for my mask,
Yeah.
with like the moving lips and whatnot.
So
Mine just takes more of a skull appearance.
yeah. Did you notice the picture of Hulk I sent you a while back, where it was the Mask's face on the Hulk?
Yeah, that was creepy.
Hulk smoking.
Hulk smoking!
Where are we going?
I don't know. Let's see.
Robert, please.
I need to fill her up with some gas. Okay, we're good. Wait, I need to make a stop real quick. You fill her up with gas. Give me a second. The car's gone. Yeah, that's about right. Are you sure I'm the agent of chaos around here? I'm just trying to drink a nice, cold, delicious sprung.
actually-
You blow up our only mode of transportation.
I'm gonna actually write a film, like a buddy cop film for these two characters, and just have a situation where I'm like, alright, I'm gonna go inside, like we're on a road trip, and I'm like, alright, I'm gonna go inside and get some snacks, you fill the car up with gas. Then I come outside, the gas station's destroyed, the car is blown up.
No, the car is literally filled with gas. Like, the inside of the car is, like, filled with gas.
And it's flaming.
You said fill it up with gas.
And then it explodes.
We have a new car.
Well, I ain't done drinking yet. Sprunk is fuel. And you may say this is boring for people watching, but to be honest, if they stayed for this song, I think they're used to being bored.
You should, get in the car. I have a special trip for us planned.
Alright, fine. But only 'cause you said special.
I'm a real
Are we going to see
specialty
the
devil.
hot dog dinosaur?
We might pass on our way where we're going. I don't know.
Are we going to see the world's largest beer?
We need to make a note of where all these landmarks are, just so that if we do a buddy cop film, I can have them in it.
Are we going to go and see the world's largest ball of yarn?
I'd prefer not. Fucking, I just want it to be a situation where the two characters slowly start to drift into each other's personalities,
Oh, yeah?
but like only slightly. Like they act like each other when needed.
Frickin', Cody was like, you need to make a real Slippery Devil a Scar Nitro character.
I figured he already was.
I was like, you don't know if he is, because he's able to change his appearance.
Fucking imagine the devil and angel as like gods in the Skyrim Nitro universe, but like they don't do shit. They
I
try to
think
live
they're
their
not
lives.
gods, they're just somehow immortal.
Yeah, they're just trying to like live normal ass lives. Well, the angel is. The
'Cause we
devil's
already
trying to
got
fuck
a-
everyone else's.
We've already got like a God of Chaos and Scar Nitro,
Yeah.
so having two of them might make the world explode.
I'm pretty sure it already has, given your character.
Thing is, this one it just, you know, doesn't do anything too dangerous, just likes messing with stuff. Bizarro, who is our Chaos God, way more dangerous.
So like,
He's probably the most powerful character in the series, even more than Scar.
if you were to make them Scar and Nitro characters, what would their relevance even be?
Maybe they just get into random crap and they annoy the main characters. They're like Wacko, Yakko, and Dot.
Oh no, I feel like given the angel's base personality, it would be a situation of devil just doing something stupid, and then it's like the angel has to come in and apologize for his little brother.
Or it's just like, hey, can you help me with this?
It's like, look, I've dealt with this for like 1,500 years. Just please
Scar's
help.
like, yeah, well, I'm about 10 billion years old. I ain't dealing with this crap. He's like, you know, he's like, oh yeah, Sonny, I've been around since the dawn of time, so give me your sob story later.
Pretty much.
A freaking thing is, people are now like, oh, Bizarro and Real Slippery Devil. Thing is, no, Bizarro would destroy him. Because like I
would
said,
assume-
Bizarro is the strongest character in Scar Nitro. That's basically saying he is the the most OP out of all the OP characters.
Fucking imagine Slippery Devil like throws a pie at his face and he's hopping around, and then the dude just like lifts up a weapon and his like horns droop down like a fucking dog's ears.
No, like freaking Bizarro has the power to, with just his hands alone, by the way, he don't even have to touch you, just snap his fingers. He could rip your whole skeleton out of your body.
So he's named after a
Rearrange the
DC character
bones.
and has the power of a Marvel character.
You know what's funny? I didn't know the DC character existed when I made him up because I was 7.
Jesus.
I legit thought I was being creative. Apparently
No
someone
wonder
else
he's
thought
so
that too.
overpowered.
But basically, I messed with him. Basically, he's able to do just about anything. And pretty much the only reason he's around is so we have someone that, like, if things go too far, we have someone who can just break the universe and break the rules.
So you can
He
either
does have a
start
limitation.
over or quit entirely.
He has a limitation, but he can also break said limitation. Basically, his only limitation is your imagination.
Oh my god.
If he is about to do something, the limit to his power is expectancy. Say, for instance, you're fighting him and you can guess what he's going to do. Basically, he can only do things you don't expect, but it's also limitless to what that thing is. Say, like, he wants to break all your bones, like, with the snap of his fingers. If you're thinking about it, he can't do it. But he could easily do something else.
I see.
That's what makes Bizarro so crazy, is that he's able to think of so many different ways. Even someone like
So-
Scar, who's, 15 billion years old and has known him his entire life, has trouble fighting him, even though he's thought of like every possible thing nearly. Bizarro always finds a new thing. And the funny thing about him, he's not even evil. He's neutral. He just messes with people.
Jesus.
He used to be evil, but I was like, it's kind of not fair having someone that strong on one side, so he plays for both fields, considering he's friends with both of the main bad guy and the main hero.
Jesus.
Scar, Negative, and Bizarro are all kind of linked in their own way, so to speak. And basically, the way Bizarro breaks his own limit, like the whole expectancy thing,
Yes.
is and this is only if the two others allow it, basically he has to take the soul of someone that's pure good and someone that's pure evil, then his own, which is basically a twisted version, and just... You saw that bounce off, right? The plane bounced
Yeah,
off
I saw it,
the
and
building
I
and
thought
then
it was gonna
exploded.
hit me when it bounced off.
Well, anyway, basically, if he takes the soul of 3 of those and then merges them together, he basically gets, for about an hour, he gets pretty much a free pass on anything.
Jesus. Okay, so
And that's what makes him the scariest.
what you're telling me is he's basically like there to retcon if you ever just want to like stop or like start over, basically.
I've had to back in the day I made comics all the time, so I've actually had to reset, like, my comic universe before.
Honestly,
I did
okay,
the
so
regular Scar Nitro, and then I did a Scar Nitro 20 years later thing, and then I had Bizarro pretty much redo everything, and the only person who knows about all the other ones, there's only 2 people. The only 2 people that know about the past lives is Bizarro and Scar.
So, okay. It's weird to say I can't wait till I have to reset my comic universe, but it's also, I don't know. Just the idea of it's kind of cool. I like the idea to be able to reset. Like, okay, so after the first 15 Velocity films, I might not do another Velocity film, ever. But I think it'd be cool to be able to pass it on to other directors, let them do their interpretation of it with their own cast and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I've already
Like,
straight up said, like, in the
something.
past, if anyone wanted to use Velocity, like, for a fan project, and they wanted to play Velocity themselves, or they had a friend who they wanted to play, but they're of a different ethnicity, or whatever, it's fine. Because to me, it's a comic book character. A comic book character can be any race, age, or gender, pretty much.
But yeah, basically, I've had a lot of people. Like, what's funny is that back in the day, I had people put my characters in, like, death battles all the time. Like, just in school, they'd be like, oh, what would happen if Scar fought Batman? I'm like, depends. Can Batman prepare? Actually, it doesn't depend because he'd probably lose.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
point of the characters is that they're larger than life and overpowered as snot,
So where are you?
and they don't belong in death battles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Someone thinks...
Rap battles are fun, though.
There are people who think Batman could beat anyone with prep time. I don't believe that.
He couldn't beat Scar, though. That's...
I know for a
Just the
fact,
thing.
even with prep time, he couldn't beat Juggernaut unless he somehow got his armor off of him.
Yeah, which he would have to be able to get on Juggernaut's, like, shoulders without Juggernaut grabbing him and then breaking him over his leg like Bane did.
Juggernaut has big-ass hands.
Juggernaut literally,
Are you
nowadays...
gonna come pick me up? Hold on, I'll come
I'm
down
coming
there so
where
you can
you're
pick me
at.
up.
I'll let me get a car then, because I don't got one.
Did you see that?
Basically... Yeah. Basically, Juggernaut nowadays, recently, they added something to him. He literally has no weaknesses. He's now immune to freaking, like, psychic powers as well. Like, Professor X's, the only way they could really stop Juggernaut is for Professor X to get into his head and stop his rampage. That don't work anymore. Juggernaut's immune. So Juggernaut is really one of the most OP, if not the most OP character in Marvel right now.
I've said it before. Your characters and my characters are kind of like our comic universes are set up the same as DC and Marvel, where yours is like in the realm of like impossibility, and mine are put more in the realm of realism.
Yeah, they're... Yeah, like say if you
Which
put, I'm not saying your characters are bad, but if you put one of yours up against one of ours,
we
it will
get
not
curb
end
stomped.
well for yours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rap
like say
battles.
I think we
it-
discussed this once
yeah,
actually, Nitro
we
versus
have.
Velocity.
Yeah.
Or what, we discussed
Nitro
like
would
top
win
speed.
purely because of his top speed. Velocity can't break the speed of like sound or the speed of light.
You said like, yeah, he couldn't do that, and I'm like, and I think you asked like, what? How fast can Nitro go? And I was like, oh, he can. He once ran around the Earth. Let me see, 1,000,000,000,000 times in 1 second.
So yeah, I put it as
He's
within the
able
realm
to
of
go
realism as
faster.
possible. So, alright.
He can go so fast he can literally take up multiple
Yeah.
spaces at once. And it took him 10 minutes
Yeah.
to search the entire galaxy for
There
one
might
person.
be a time in like the future where Velocity can run fast enough to cause a small sonic boom as he starts running. That's about it.
Yeah.
So he'd be able to
There
break
was
the
one-
sound barrier a little bit.
There was one funny comic I remember. It was a short one where Scar was like trying to. Basically, Scar likes testing and training Nitro up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He likes. Because Scar knows he's not going to be around forever.
Yeah. What are we doing? What is your purpose?
Sorry, one sec. My freaking controller died. He didn't
Oh.
even say anything.
Makes sense.
But, basically, Scar wants to be there. He wants to make sure Nitro's ready for whenever, if he ever goes kaput.
Honeycomb is drinking. Honeycomb's drinking. It's so precious. So,
But basically, and Nitro, pretty much the comic was Scar, like, started the timer and Nitro didn't move, and he's like, well, go. And he's like, I already did.
yeah. So, okay, here's something. So are your characters, like, born with powers, or are they just to get them? Like, how's that set up?
It depends on who it is. There are
Alright.
some characters that don't even have powers, like Scarlet,
So,
for instance.
Yeah. What was
She's
Nitro's
one of the main three, and
situation?
she doesn't. Nitro. All right. I'm pretty sure he was just born with the with the fire and electricity. No, he was
What?
born with the fire powers.
Yeah, I was
Here's
mostly talking about the
Nitro's-
speed.
Here's a quick origin. Really, you ready?
Yeah.
Basically,
your origin.
Nitro was born with the fire power,
Yes.
and Scar had known him since he was a kid. Scar knew his parents as well. Thing is, Nitro's mom died at birth, and Nitro's dad, no one knows where he is. And, alright, and then, what is it? Frickin' Nitro ended up. Basically, what's funny about him is that most of his speed is actually just normal.
Yeah. I'm gonna upload a new Velocity fun fact to the Discord real quick.
He's like he was super fast to begin with, but what really amped it up was and what's funny is how he got his powers were from a prank, actually. Cody and me thought of this, and we were like, we're just keeping this. Basically, Nitro and Scar were hanging out, and Nitro was like a teenager, you know what I mean? I don't know, maybe 13, 14, around that age. And basically, he had to go to the bathroom, and you know what Scar did? Because
Yes.
Scar's a dick. He gave him the keys. They were outside. He gave them the keys, and the keys had a kite tied to it. And the kite, and it was right as Nitro went in, there was a thunderstorm. I think you can guess what happened.
Yeah.
Is that a bike? What the heck?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was. That's
So
a
here's-
unicycle.
So here's a fun fact. So Ray's powers. Have I told you how he got his powers? I have it written out somewhere.
I think you have. I just don't remember.
All right. So
Nitro
Ray
just got electrocuted by a
was
kite.
Ray was an
While taking a
electrician,
booze.
basically, and so his electric company was called because someone's fuse box had been sparking and messing up, and so he was sent out to take care of it. The woman who was there was Michelle, who later becomes his girl in the chair, basically. In fact, I just gave her a super name as a code name for later on. But basically, really?
You can't tell how deep the water is, okay?
Basically, he went over to fix the problem, and then, so the floor, it's a basement floor, it was kind of wet and damp, you know, water was pretty much everywhere. And so, he was checking on it, of course. It was sparking and stuff, but he got it to a point where he thought it was fixed. He checked for no loose wires, but he ended up missing a couple, which were making contact with the ground. And
Get
so
in the car.
I am. And so he turned on the what the fuck? He turned on the fuse box, and then it sent volts of electricity going through like the ground into his feet, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, and then after that, the fuse box blew up in his face, sending him back some.
I'm listening.
Hold on.
We just need to talk about origins of our characters the rest of the time.
I mean, yeah. But basically, so Michelle had called 911. But before she could finish talking to them, Ray sat up. He didn't say anything. He seemed fine for the most part, and then he just fucking bolted. Like, just out of nowhere, he starts running. And the reason Michelle was able to track him, which she does in the first Velocity, is because he had his ID with him, or his ID card, basically, like name tag, and so basically, she was able to track him, and that led to the origins of his name and his super suit and all that other stuff, because they were all made by Michelle.
Neat.
Another fun fact is that Ray is not single. He actually has two brothers and a sister, all younger, which are raised by an abusive father, who is an alcoholic, and their mother is not around. Yeah. That's going to be explored maybe later on. I don't know yet. Probably in a comic.
Alright, my turn. Alright, my turn. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, wait. I'll give you like a poll thing. Whose origin do you want to hear about the most?
Probably
Ready?
Scar.
I was about to say, Scar was one of them. Scar, Scarlet, Bizarro, or Mecha, who usually has everyone's favorite backstory.
Probably Scar, because, like, name title characters, so.
He's the main character and you know like nothing about him except that he's old.
Yeah, and he hates being called old.
I mean, wouldn't you?
I don't
Who
really
likes
care.
being called old?
Old people
He's
who are
old,
proud
but
to
he's
be
got like the body of a 30-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, to a little person, 30 is still old.
Alright, well, Scar's whole thing started at the beginning of the universe.
Yeah. Fuck.
It was never said how the world was created, because, you know, we don't like to get into that crap. Basically,
Alright,
Scar
set a
had
waypoint for a
lived...
clothing store.
Alright, I'll go towards it. Scar had lived his life, you know, normally, as a kid would in his time, I guess. He had a mom and dad. His mom was named Marie, and his dad was named Solomon. His mom was a warrior lady, and his dad was a stay-at-home dad.
Huh. Switching up gender
And
roles,
honestly,
I like.
kind of looked like a genie, if I'm honest. What do you think? I'll be honest, when I first designed him, he wore puff-up pants and like curl-toed shoes, and someone's like, he looks like a genie, and I'm like,
Jesus
oh,
Christ.
he's a genie. Okay, I'll keep that. Why not? I
Well,
mean,
damn.
I don't see why not. I can see someone, you know, someone's dad looks like that. He doesn't know he looks stupid.
He doesn't
but,
know, he just does.
Another funny thing about his mom, Marie, Scar's mom, Marie, and their last name's Bishop.
Yeah.
And Scar's whole name nowadays, he's changed his name a bunch of times because, you know, you have to kind of change it to not be, for people not to get suspicious of you
Yeah.
for being super old. His whole name nowadays is Scar Solomon Marie Bishop.
Jesus Christ.
So, because he named himself after his parents at some point. But no one knows what his name was when he was first born, and I'm keeping that a secret for a while.
So I assume you
But-
have something planned that you're going to reveal in some big issue?
Possibly. But, basically, for a long time, Scar had... Ever since Scar was born, he had this, like, darker side to him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like the Hulk, actually. Not like an imaginary friend, but, like,
Yeah, it makes
something in
sense.
the back of his mind. Every time he made a decision, there was always a voice in the back of his mind to give him an angrier, more dark, twisted version of the answer that he's looking for. but most of the time he'd be able to ignore it until at one point he actually did what it said because he was so desperate that he would take anything as anybody's advice.
Yeah.
So basically he did that, and he eventually got pretty much told off by everyone that's in charge of the place he's from, which is like a little village in the woods sort of thing. Towns aren't a thing yet. But basically he was exiled until he was able to get rid of these inner demons, and Scar's mom knew about a way to get rid of these demons in sort of a spiritual ritual kind of way. There's an old temple that you can go to, and if you do a certain ritual in front of it, it is said to basically cleanse the soul. He went there.
Yeah.
What?
Is this part of how he gets his immortality, or is this just like a situation?
Yes.
Yeah, alright then.
Trust me, this... I probably wouldn't say it if it wasn't a part of it. Also, you know how I mentioned Negative is the main character? He's in this too.
Oh, is he like the bad energy from Scar?
I'll get to it. But
Alright.
basically, Scar ends up going to said temple to get all this stuff, you know, done and over with.
Yeah.
And whenever he starts doing the ritual and whatnot, the evil side, notices, hey, what are you doing? I'm not leaving. I'm going to stay here. And pretty much what ends up happening is the soul, he gets taken out, but he's able to overpower the said ritual and give himself a physical form and stop it before it ends. So instead of being brought out and then eviscerated, he was just brought out.
You see.
So now there's just a physical embodiment of Scar's evil side, and it's negative.
Yes. So, okay, I brought you to a
And
clothing store. I'm gonna
it's
try to
just-
make Velocity's costume. I'm also
So
gonna
basically,
show this.
now there's just an evil Negative walking around that looks... There's an evil Scar walking around, because they look just the same.
Barely making enough to buy weed.
And I'm almost done, I swear. This is probably the longest
Yeah.
origin, besides Bizarro's. But everyone likes Bizarro's because it's different. But, pretty much, the Negative was the whole thing. He's evil. And actually, he ends up fighting Scar and killing him. Basically, they end up getting into, like, sort of a sword fight thing. And they both have the same weapon. Negative ends up cutting a big scar over Scar's left eye, and then just jabbing him through the heart and leaving him for dead, going back to Scar's village to kill everyone else.
Yeah.
And basically, in the afterlife, Scar basically is in a black void until the Grim Reaper ends up showing up. And the Grim Reaper, he's kind of a... I don't want to say he's not a good guy by any means,
Yeah.
but he's not stupid, you know? He's like, he basically says, like, you know, I've seen the future, and if this guy keeps just walking around killing everyone, he's eventually just going to rule the world, so I'm going to give you a chance to
Yeah.
redeem yourself. And the Grim Reaper says, alright, this is the thing. It's an old curse, but I'm going to place it on you in Negative. It's an old curse that people used to do, and it's forbidden, but I'm going to do it. Basically, the curse is the world can't live without the other. Negative and positive can't be separate for too long. So basically, they're both Scar and Negative are cursed to be immortal and invincible. Basically, they have a healing factor that is outrageous,
Makes sense.
like ridiculous. And Scar and him do not age. And basically, they're both immortal, and the only way to stop that is to kill one of them. If Negative dies, Scar loses his immortality, and if Scar dies, Negative loses his immortality. And the only way to kill them is with a weapon of their choice. And the Grim Reaper pretty much chooses for them, and he makes it their respective swords. And they've kept those swords for centuries.
Alright.
That's the only thing that can nullify Scar and Negative's healing factor is their swords. Their own swords, even. Like, Scar could kill himself anytime he wants with his own sword. But he knows that's stupid. And then, basically, Scar ended up being brought back to life. And people always ask me, if he has a healing factor, why is the scar still on his face? I'm like, the biggest answer I'm not gonna do a thing like Deathstroke where it's like, oh, the wounds on the inside hurt the most. I'm like, nah, it's just because he got it before his healing factor. You know, so
That's kind of what I assumed
just-
before you said that, honestly, because, you know.
it kind of just it didn't get healed up because it was it was there before that. The only thing that got healed up was a wound that killed him, basically. And he ended up going back to his place, you know, for his folks and everything to stop negative. And it turns out everyone's dead, literally everyone.
That seems like a kick in the penis.
Yeah, everyone's dead, and the only person that he finds barely alive, and I mean barely, as in she literally dies in like 5 minutes, is his own mom, who's just got a giant hole in her stomach from being stabbed, and believe it or not, she actually fought Negative off. She actually is the reason he didn't kill everyone. Like, basically, she was able to hurt him. Pretty much this all happened before the healing factor thing. And she was able to pretty much make him nearly dead. And this is kind of where the biggest kick in the dick comes in. He was nearly dead, but that whole curse thing pretty much saved him.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, yeah.
Well,
And then
yeah.
Scar's mom dies in his arms. He buries her. And he keeps her old staff that she used. And then he just walks out into the distance, hoping to find some civilization. And the rest is kind of history.
All I seem to do is cover the shifts of girls who've been
At least for
sexually
Scar.
too fat.
Because he's been
Well,
around
at
since the
least-
dawn of time.
Yeah.
So he's like 10 billion years old.
At least it gives, you know, him a reason to fight, per se.
Oh yeah, he hates Negative. I think you
Alright.
could probably guess. He wants to destroy him.
So that involved the story of both the hero and the hero's what I assume is main villain.
Yeah, Negative's the main dude.
Alright.
He's whenever I have like a thing between everyone, like who's the most popular Scar Nitro villain, Negative always won. Negative's everyone's favorite villain.
Alright,
And it's mostly
so,
because he's just super intimidating.
Yeah. So here's
He
the
used to be
story
kind of a Joker clown,
of...
actually.
Here's the story of the kind of main villain of Velocity. No one knows this,
Okay.
because I haven't wanted to say this to anyone. I've wanted to keep it a secret. But I've decided, fuck
You
it.
people
I'm
watching this, you're getting a sneak peek.
people who are watching this, people who watch it in the future, everyone's gonna know about this character now, right? I'm not gonna try to stop it. I'm not gonna try to change it. I've committed myself to this now. So, in one of the Velocity films, I forgot which one. I think it's the 5th one. No, it's the 4th one. Velocity gets in a fight with someone, right? Now, throughout the entire story, in the very first Velocity comic, Velocity fights some kid who is, like, a science student. He's experimenting with stuff, and eventually it fucks him up to a point where he has fucking... What was I saying? So it fucks him up, right? He ends up with the power, kind of like Clayface. He can change his shape and form and do whatever he really wants. So, because of that, he decides to try to make Velocity's life a living hell. Because Velocity, this was the first guy Velocity stopped, and you know those characters where they're trying to just do justice, but they get stopped while they're doing said justice, and they're made into the bad guy? Because in their mind, what they're doing is good, but to everyone else it's bad.
Yeah.
That's basically what this kid was doing. He was attacking, like, a pretty much entire school campus because it was filled with a bunch of jocks being assholes. And at the end of the day, that ended up being pretty bad because he almost hurt several people. But Velocity stopped him, and this upset him. So he spends the entire Velocity movie series, you almost never see him, he spends the entire Velocity movie series trying to ruin Velocity's life. And the way he does this, in the 5th Velocity film, Velocity gets in a fight in the woods, and then some of his blood gets onto the ground. What this dude does, he's a science student. He gets the blood, and using the stuff that he had to make himself, like into the stretchy stuff, he merged his DNA with that DNA, making what was basically an evil Velocity. The evil Velocity is literally about the opposite. He wears purple, he has blonde hair, and his name is Momentum. And no one knows that until now, unless they've watched this video.
I like the name.
Yeah. I was trying to find other words that were just speed. What's up, Multi? So yeah, that's the story of Momentum. He didn't... So I haven't made any decisions yet. I made his name James Harper. The original last name for Velocity was going to be Harper, and then I changed it to, Hudson.
Who's that?
Because
Yeah.
Ray Harper was too close to Roy Harper. Hey, I'm heading up the street to get my hair cut.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm taking the car because I'm too lazy to walk.
I'll just meet you there when I'm done.
Yeah. But basically, so I used the last name for Velocity, the original one, which was Harper, and then my dad's first name, which is James, to create who was Velocity's second biggest villain.
Come in. You know how you want it done.
Alright. Is it back to me?
It should be. Basically, I want the idea that these two know each other from their childhood, which is what makes it even a hard hitter, but I don't know yet.
Alright. I'm gonna let you pick again between Scarlet, Bizarro, and Mecha, because like I said, that's everyone's, like, top favorites.
Alright.
Scarlet, not so much. Hers is kind of short and simple.
Alright. Well, let's go least popular first, and then just go from there.
Alrighty, so Scarlet's the least popular. Like I said, she's one of the big three, like, main characters. Kind of big four, because Millie's in it now. She's new, but she's technically a character in the show. She's a snake person, but I can get to that some other time. That was Cody's idea, I swear to God. And, basically, Scarlet is a Scottish lady,
Makes sense.
and I'm trying to remember her age. I'm pretty sure Nitro's like 24 and she's 26. And
Right.
pretty much she's redhead, she's Scottish, she's hot-tempered, she wears a kilt, and whenever she fights, she wears football gear, like shoulder pads.
Why would anyone dislike this?
And then she uses like a double-edged, basically, she uses a giant sword. Like, you know those Scottish rune swords?
Yeah.
That got like the little things inscribed on them? She's got one of those. And basically when she was first born, she only knew her mom.
Alright.
She didn't know who her dad was throughout her entire life, and she wouldn't figure out for a long frickin' time.
Yeah.
She ended up moving from Scotland to, you know, the U.S., the mainlands, and she would end up meeting Scar and Nitro, because Scar and Nitro, they're kind of like superheroes in the universe, and Scarlet was a cop. She's a cop, basically.
Makes sense.
And she has taken a lot of punishment over the years. Basically, one of the 12-pack is another character I like, who I think you would like as well. He's the strongest character in the whole series. Like, I literally have labeled him that. He's even stronger than Scar. Basically, he took Scarlet, for one, he was able to catch Nitro. Imagine how fast you must be to catch Nitro.
It's like when the Superman
Like-
caught the Flash in Justice League.
Yeah, basically. Like, he's not as fast as Nitro, but he is not slow either. Like, Nitro's running around him getting his punches in, and then
Yeah.
eventually 12-pack just grabs him,
He's
cracks
just
his skull with
fast
one
enough.
hand, and then just throws him.
Yeah.
And then he grabbed Scarlet and broke her in half, basically. He made her a paraplegic.
Yeah. Dude, okay,
But
so...
that did last for a while as well, the whole paraplegic thing.
I think it'd be cool if after a couple of Velocity comics we did like a mix, like a crossover comic, kind of like the Amalgam comics, where
Yeah.
like the two worlds merge and characters merge together.
Yeah,
God, that'd be
that
weird.
would be funny.
What is Scar's power?
Basically, most of his powers are natural. That's the thing. The only
Well, yeah,
superpower he really has is his cursed immortality.
Yeah.
The rest
well, like,
of it is
I don't
just
know.
because he's
For
been
me,
training for 10 billion years.
For me, superpower is just something superhuman. Like, would you say he has like superhuman strength per se?
When he fought 12, for one, he's able to fight 12-pack fist to fist.
Yeah. All
He
right.
lost,
If
but he lasts better than anyone else, and he was able to hold. Basically, he was able to lift up a mountain, like hold it up.
if we were to like do like an Amalgam Comics type thing, our main two characters would be able to merge with each other, which would be weird
He'd just be
because
unstoppable.
yeah, it would be kind of weird because normally Velocity is the leader and then Fisticuff is more of the sidekick character, but with Scar and Nitro it's the opposite.
Yeah. But yeah, Scarlet had her back broken, and she was basically after a while, because Scar's like the smart dude and everything. He was able to fix stuff. Basically, he was able to make it to where she can walk again after a while through,
Yeah.
like, I want to say like extensive exercise and training with a little bit of biotics here and there, like
Yeah.
robot parts here and there, just to replace some missing and broken parts.
Of course.
That's the only time 12-Pack lost a fight, is when he broke Scarlet's back. That's the only time 12-Pack has ever lost a fight against anyone.
Jesus. So
He has fought Negative and stumped him. He has fought Bizarro and stumped him.
so I don't
He's
even
fought
know.
Bizarro to a standstill,
Yeah.
and it's ridiculous.
I can't tell. I honestly don't know out of everyone who is currently created in Velocity who's the strongest. So the college kid later became a character named Elasticata, who is kind of like Clayface. So he has
Yeah.
strength. There's also a girl named Dexterity, who has like kind of like the Hulk type savage animalistic strength at first, at least, and then it kind of just like changes from there. It's weird. Okay, so Fisticuff's like origin is the weirdest, right?
Okay, well, let me just finish Scarlet's real quick.
Yeah.
Basically, she eventually goes back home to find out who her dad is, and it turns out her dad is Ares, you know, the god of war.
Makes sense.
She goes back, she finds out, you know, god of war is her dad. She also finds out that her and Nitro are cousins.
Oh, that's weird.
Her mom is the sister of Nitro's uncle.
Oh.
So that's a thing. And the other thing. Basically, what's so weird, Scar and Scarlet are kind of an item, so to speak. And what's so weird about the fact that her dad is Ares?
Why am I
Okay,
taking the car?
because you held down triangle. I was in the middle of a sentence. Get out of here. Basically, what's so weird about that is that there was a point in
There we
Scar's
go.
life during the Grecian times with the Greek gods and all that.
Yeah.
So, basically, what was it? The Grim Reaper was like, you know what, I'll make you a deal. You want to die so badly? If you can kill all the Greek gods, I'll let you die. Basically, is what he said. And the only one that got away was Ares.
That sounds extreme.
And basically, the deal still stood up, and Scar nearly killed Ares because he found him because of Scarlet, and then he decided not to.
Well,
Scar, you know, because I want to get my dick wet. Scar's given up his immortality. Like, he's given up a chance to die and end his suffering for his friends a lot.
yeah.
He was once given a chance just because he said, you know what, you've been through a lot. I'll let you stay here if you want. He's like, no, my friends are in trouble. I need to go back.
Yeah.
And then the whole Ares thing, he could have killed him and just been fine. But nope. Like, even Ares didn't stand a chance. It was kind of
He
ridiculous.
seems like a character who has like pretty high morals.
He's like our Superman when it comes to
Yeah.
like being a nice guy. But
Yeah.
when you make him mad, God help you. Like, that's the whole, like, 12-Packs lost only one fight. It was to Scar because he broke Scarlet's back, and that broke Scar's,
Yeah.
like, mind.
Okay,
It
so-
put him over the edge, and he... Basically, when Scar's mad, his whole body's on fire.
So there's
And it's
gonna be
ridiculous.
a comic where, or in the films anyways. So Velocity
make it.
has a very high moral compass. Like, he would never go far enough to like break a bone in anyone's body or send them directly to the ER, just enough to subdue them to send them to jail. But then
Well,
there's
see,
like,
what's funny is that Scar doesn't care about that.
yeah. Then there's one comic, or in the films at least, where something really bad happens to someone he loves, and that pushes him over the edge. So first, he goes through a long depression, of course, and then finally, when he's able to track who did it, he goes all out. We have
Like,
like
Scar will kill you first chance he gets. He
Yeah.
does not care. Like, he is tired, he's angry, and he is one grumpy MFer.
So, okay, Velocity's gonna get compared to the Flash a lot. Hey, oh, okay, Honeycomb's just got here. He doesn't know anything about the purple dude. So, I've told Cam, and everyone else is already here already. So, yeah, Momentum. So, the purple Velocity, his name is Momentum. And he's kind of a clone of Velocity, mixed with the biggest villain so far in the Velocity universe.
Honeycomb's missed all my cool stuff. Dadgummit.
You did. You missed a whole bunch of cool stuff from Cam as well.
I thought it was pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah. It's better
whose
than...
backstory is the most interesting so far?
Scars is the most extensive.
Scars is the most extensive, but to be honest, a lot of people find Bizarro's the most interesting just because of what it really means in the grand scheme. I'll have to tell you that one
We
next,
have
probably.
Beppis.
Or 12 pack or Mecha, you can pick. But after
Yeah.
you do one, because we're taking turns.
Alright,
only fair,
so...
honestly.
Yeah. Alright, so let me
Wow,
go
he's
over...
just going somewhere.
So let me go over Fisticuff's backstory, right? So...
I actually like this character a lot, Fisticuffs, when you told me about him. I
yeah,
was like, I like this guy.
yeah. Like, okay, so... Let me tell you his character first. Walter Johnson is the best friend of Ray Hudson, aka Velocity. He gets his powers, like, not much later. Like, a little bit while later, but not too much later, basically. There's no, like, semblance of time in the Velocity universe, really, like in the films. But when he gets his powers, basically, you know how I told you, like, Michelle is the woman in the chair?
Oracle, yes.
Yeah, so I gave her the name Motherboard, just recently, because I figured
I like that name.
Yeah. So, basically...
I like your names.
She
Your names
made-
are great.
yeah. So, what they've decided to do is take some...
Negative.
Basically, what she...
How did
okay,
we live?
What?
How did
Lem-
we survive that? I thought
I
the
don't
car
know.
would explode.
Since you seem to like my names, I'm going to tell you how I come up with my names. I look up
Oh,
a
here we
word,
go.
and I look up the name of their power, look up synonym, and then use the most interesting thing on thesaurus.com. But basically, with Fisticuffs, he's the best friend of Ray, and he's one of those people where he can be serious, but for the most part he's jokey. He's somewhat cringy, but in an endearing way, and he's the type of person to always be there for his friends no matter what happens. He's
Yeah.
mostly based
He's
off
like
the
the
actor who plays
Knuckles.
him. Yeah, and so, he's also made to be comic relief mostly. But Michelle, Motherboard, made a little chamber thing to extract powers from people so that she could extract powers from, like, some of the villains that Velocity faces so they're not endangering the world anymore. What happened was, Walter ran into the base having to pee, and without thinking, instead of running into the bathroom, ran into the extraction chamber, right?
Okay.
Now, the extraction chamber is only built to house one person. So, they would pretty much turned it on right then, like right as he was running in. So they didn't have time to stop it, and they couldn't stop him. So what happened was, you know, flashes of lightning, shit like that, out of nowhere. So, Walter got Dexterity's powers, and Dexterity's powers heightened.
Well then.
So the entire thing malfunctioned, but it gave Walter super strength.
Me?
Yeah, so that's his backstory. It's kind of weird. I also made it as a joke. And of course, he's comic relief. So, like, when it all happened, instead of being overwhelmed like most other people would, he's still caught up on the fact that he has to pee.
I've got to go to the bathroom. Why can I lift the toilet out of the ground?
It's legit just like, alright, look, this is cool, but I really have to fucking piss.
Jeez.
So yeah, that's basically his backstory. The cool thing is that, like, so Ray, at this point, he had fought villains for a while, he knows what it is, but he also worries about his friend's safety, and at the point, Walter doesn't know how to use his powers yet, or anything else like that, right?
Yes.
And so, later on, basically he makes a cheap version of a costume with, like, colors that he would like for a costume, which I think we're using white and blue. Because there aren't very many, like, really cool white and blue superheroes. We might be using red and black, I forgot which. It's probably the second one. But basically, he gets, like, dollar store, basically, clothes. And then he, like, runs in to help Ray with a fight. And this kind of distracts him. It makes him lose the fight because while Ray understands he has powers and he's been helping Ray somewhat, he also worries for his safety because he doesn't know how to use the powers or anything like that. So yeah, at the end of the film, it works out, and then that continues for a couple more, and then the 5th film happens, and that one's my favorite so far. I think you'll enjoy the films at least.
Yeah.
I'm hoping people will.
Alright, so do you want to pick the next one?
Let's go with, what'd you say, Mechas?
Are you interested in Mecha?
Yes.
I don't think, you've never even heard of this guy, have you?
I haven't, that's why I questioned how his name was pronounced.
I never mentioned Mecha around you, which is really weird, because I feel like you'd like him. He's actually a Mr. Freeze kind of character.
Oh, well then yeah, I would definitely like him.
Pretty much his whole shtick is that he used to be a scientist who really didn't work on anything specific per se. He was just a regular guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He loved his life. He loved his wife. He just,
of course,
like, he was just a normal dude. And this is how his origin comic started that I made years ago.
Yeah.
And he's been retconned plenty of times, but this is the most recent one he had. Originally, he was just supposed to be a self-made robot from the future that wanted to kill Scar, but I thought that was stupid and too much like the Terminator.
Yeah.
This version, I feel like, is a lot better, and people can kind of like this one more. Basically, his whole when he was a human, regular dude.
Yeah.
Nowadays, he's a little wall. I'm trying to run first.
Alright.
You'll see what I mean. Or you'll hear what I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Basically, Mecha's whole shtick...
I'll hear what I see.
He was... I keep saying it. I keep repeating myself. He was a regular dude. He had a wife named Angelica. Or Angela. His real name is Noah Perkins. And he was a regular scientist dude. He mostly was like... Basically, he was like a master at engineering. He's really good at robotics and all that. And he was working on a little robot stuff, little robot helpers, they're little cute little things. And one day when going into work, he was there with all of his coworkers. His wife works right next to him, at a separate desk. They have he gets into the office, he has coffee for both of them, he kisses her, he sits down, and the next thing you know, there's a giant explosion. Alright? It's like, stay with me. Trust me. It's not all terrible. Well, actually, it kind of is. Ugh. Basically, there's a big explosion, and Mecha kind of blacks out for a second, but then when he opens his eyes, he sees 2 figures fighting inside of the building, which now has a giant hole in the side of it, and the building has pretty much collapsed. And he sees 2 guys fighting, 2 big figures, and it turns out it's Scar and 12-Pack.
Jesus.
It was the first time that Scar and 12-Pack had ever fought, and Scar really does not care about property damage because he knows he can afford it. He just, you know what I mean? And he later claims that he thought the building was abandoned, but there's no real way of telling that he knew that. You just got to kind of take his word for it at that point. But basically, he's fighting 12-Pack and they're going nuts. And Mecha is still alive. He's the only one still alive. But he can't say anything because the fire inside the building has not only burned his skin to, ridiculous amounts, but has also kind of burned his insides. His insides have melted.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. So he's not able to call for help. He's not able to get help for anything. And once they leave and he's been there for a few hours, he finally gets, the energy to move around. And he starts looking for his wife, Angela. And all he can find is her charred head. And you could probably guess what he does. He just, okay, we have the cops for no reason. Basically, he cradles the head in his arms and he just starts, what else would you do in that situation? You know what I mean? You're helpless. Your whole world just got destroyed. Yeah, your whole world just got destroyed. Your wife had just been killed. Who was pregnant, by the way. And...
Hey, I'm gonna listen to some vocals, so I might not talk for a while, but continue.
Okay. For all that are listening, right? But, basically, he had really nothing left. Mecha became a man who had nothing to lose. And what happens when a man has nothing to lose? He starts to go crazy and lash out. And he knew exactly who to blame for his whole life falling apart. It was Scar, Scar, Scar. We may have to move cars, right? Just this one's stuck. But, basically, I keep saying basically, that's one of my words that I use to transition a lot. It's really weird. Oh, okay. He just exploded or something. Mecha ended up, instead of just, you know, killing himself or wallowing in his self-pity for too long, he ended up rebuilding himself. Basically, he ended up giving himself a new exoskeleton. He became bigger, badder, and more metallic. He's basically a cyborg now. More like just a normal, burned-up human head piloting a robotic body, because the only normal part of him left, the only part of him from his original body that's still there, is the head. The rest of it, he got rid of. Like, he does not use anymore. And... well, I'm stuck in the pole with the car. I'm getting out of the chair, though. Never hear me say that again. But, he ends up building himself up ridiculously well. He ends up pretty much building a base around that entire, burned down building that was abandoned because it got blown up and torn down. And he ends up pretty much getting a gigantic hate boner for Scar. And he wants to kill him at all costs and show him that no matter how much you try, no matter how good you do, you can't save everyone. And life is gonna suck. You can't save everyone, and just... that's really the biggest thing about Mecha, is that he wants to reiterate that point into Scar's head so much, just to make him feel the way he did. That day that Scar, unwittingly, but he still ruined his life forever. And pretty much that's Mecha's whole purpose now, is to make Scar's life the worst he can possible. And, also, he carries around his wife's charred remains in an urn under his cape. And he... towards, like, the middle of the series, he started becoming less dark. Because we thought, good God, man, this is ridiculous, even for our series. So he started, basically, he has 3 little projects. He has projects, I think Cody named them. They're either Project or Unit 64. And, basically, there's 3 versions of him. A tiny one that's like the shape of a bucket and has like little fork arms. He's super cute and tiny. There's a bigger version that's about Mecha size, who's like an Iron Man thing with like wires coming out of him. And then there's the big one, who is the major one, who is basically made to be a Scar killer. And he's really good at his job.
Oh damn, but what about the coffee? It says multi-supervids. I don't know.
The coffee was probably evaporated in the fire.
I don't know what I've missed. So I've been kind of listening, but I've also been like making sure the vocals fit and everything.
Basically, his wife died because Scar and 12-Pack were irresponsible during the fight, and now Mecha has rebuilt himself to where he's only a living, burned-up head piloting pretty much a mech suit. But he, you know, he has the human form kind of looking thing. He carries his wife's charred remains in an urn. He has built pretty much 3 robot minions / kids, because he kind of treats them like children. And his sole purpose in life right now is to make Scar's life the worst thing possible, and to teach him a valuable lesson that Mecha learned himself, is that you can't save everyone.
Yeah.
And people
Sounds
think
very
he's not a
freezy.
tragic... and people think Negative is the tragic villain.
Isn't Negative just evil Scar though?
Yeah,
Like, for the most
but at
part.
least he looks different.
Yeah, that's not very tragic.
Also, his personality is, well, people try to make the Joker a tragic villain. For a
Yeah.
while, people were like, oh, he's just misunderstood. I'm like, no, he is just evil.
Okay,
This was
so
back when
Joker.
he was more. This is
Even,
back when
like-
Negative was more jokey and people thought that.
Even
and then I was
back
like,
in,
okay,
like-
we just need to make this guy evil.
Even back when they did Killing Joke, like, he still wasn't that tragic. Like, yeah, he has a bad backstory, but he doesn't do the stuff he does to prove a major point of, yeah, you can't save everyone. He does it to prove that no matter what, everyone's going to become insane if something bad enough happens.
Yeah, like Mecha is the tragic villain.
Yeah.
Negative is just evil incarnate.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing.
I don't
He is
necessarily
literally
have...
the living embodiment of evil. He's like
Yeah.
Aku from Samurai Jack. Like,
I don't
he is
necessarily
just
have a quote-unquote
evil.
misunderstood villain. Like, I have villains who did things that they thought were the greater good, but they were wrong. But I still wouldn't call them necessarily tragic.
Mecha was pretty much driven over the edge by the
Yeah.
hero, unbeknownst to the hero. Though, you know what I mean? Like,
The most, like...
Scar has claimed he doesn't know,
Yeah.
but to be honest, there's nowhere you can take his word for it. But Scar has lied before.
Yeah. I
Also,
think
Scar
the
breaks the
most-
fourth wall, so he knows he's lying to the audience if he's lying.
Oh my god. So I think
did
the
you know he
most
could do that?
misunderstood that he could break the fourth wall, yeah.
Yeah, people compared him to Deadpool because of that, because he has a healing factor and he can break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, is Deadpool 10 billion years old?
Okay, so a lot of people, like I've said, people think Velocity is, or like, a lot of people have compared Velocity to the Flash, and I already anticipate people to do it.
Yeah.
Isn't
We're
there
in
like
the
a ramp
ghetto.
jump up here we could take?
I think it's in that, like, car lot. I'll go up and see.
Awesome. So, okay, there are a lot of things that Flash does that Velocity can't do. One thing, when Flash
Yeah.
runs, there's lightning. There's not going to be lightning for what's his dick Velocity. It's just going to be like motion blur. Velocity can't throw lightning. He can't control wind with his arms. He can't like make a wind tornado or control things with like running. He also does not have a healing factor.
See, funny enough, Nitro doesn't either, but he has the electricity, and the only
Yeah.
way he can make tornadoes is by spinning. He doesn't like
Yeah.
make them with his arms. He's able to make tornadoes with that, or by holding out
Yeah.
a hammer. Because his main weapon, besides his own hands, is a giant freaking mallet. That
Yeah.
thing's gigantic. And
So
it
the
hurts.
only, yeah, so like the only thing that the lightning or the electricity affected in Velocity was his muscle speed, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But nothing else really got affected. Oh, I'm out of here. Oh man, I didn't jump out when we were in the air.
Amazing.
So
Top-notch work.
I've dressed myself as Velocity.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Mecha.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Okay,
I hope
The only
people watching
other-
this are enjoying it.
yeah. The only other hero I've really made is Bylaw. So
Bylaw.
in the Righteous universe, right? So Righteous is a comic series, of course. You got the Velocity, the Fisticuffs, all those people who have comics. But in the Righteous universe, comics exist as well for the characters that are basically kind of like in their world is basically fan fiction because they're real people in their world. Yes. What did you do?
I noticed we've kind of gone around almost the entire map.
We can crash.
Like, I feel like we've at least circled the map while we've been out.
He was about to add me on the live stream, and then my phone crashed, and I couldn't get on the live stream.
You know what I
You're
want,
upset.
ladies and gentlemen? I want some borscht.
Cool.
I'm hungry and tired.
Cool. I'm trying to talk about superheroes. I'm like, boop your nose. I love you. Message them. They might do something
Why?
about it. Alex is
Ooh,
upset
why
because she was
she-
gonna get on an Instagram live stream, but because she decided to spend her money on buying me a phone a couple months ago instead of getting one for herself, and she has a stupid iPhone 5, it wasn't gonna work. Anyways, so Bylaw was basically the guy who made the in-universe comics. Fun fact, Bylaw is designed after and played by the comic book artist of the Righteous Comics, Cypress McCloud.
Hey.
So yeah, but basically with Bylaw, he made a Justice League-like team, which has consisted of 5 characters who existed in the universe already, who are Fisticuffs, Velocity, Cryogen, Nova, and Spirit Sense. Yeah, I only made 4 of those. Yeah, I only made 4 of those. Nova was made by my editor. And basically,
1 second, let me rub my eyes.
Alright.
You can
Right.
keep talking, I just didn't want to keep driving.
Yeah. And basically, because he had in his mind, okay, a team like this should be comprised of 6 people, but there's no 6th person, he made himself the 6th person. And because he didn't really have any superpowers, he basically made himself a Batman-style vigilante. He fights with his fists. That's why his name is Bylaw, because he fights for the law.
Mm.
Yeah. It's real creative, I know. I made it up in like 2 seconds. Basically,
Yeah, man.
so Velocity was under the impression that everyone this dude like publishes as comic book characters are real people. And so one day there's 5 of them, and they decide, because okay, so the team is called the Gallantry Force. The Gallantry Force didn't pre-exist in the universe. The guy made it up because he thought it'd be cool if they all worked together as one team. And upon reading these comics, and with these huge events going on, Velocity decides we should make this real. So he contacts the other people who are members of the Gallantry Force, except for Fisticuffs. Fisticuffs isn't around at this point. He comes back, maybe. I don't know. I haven't written it yet. I might retcon him in. But basically, he contacts the other people who are members and makes the group. And then they realize there's one person who isn't there, and they don't know who it is. Basically. And so what Velocity does is he finds the address of the comic creator, or like the work address, and then he zooms in and talks to them about it. And he says the character was created after him, but he didn't have any powers, it was just made up for a 6th member. And so Velocity, fully believing that he could do what the character does, still tells him, hey, you can help us, I know you can. So, the thing about this character is that he's kind of shy and cowardice. He's sheepish. He doesn't like, fighting or like doing anything really. He's scared easily. But he does have a multiple personality. That's the bi part. So the bi meaning 2. The second personality is, suave, he's cool, and he's very calm and collected in a bad situation. Kind of like the Incredible Hulk, but under more control.
We have a bipolar guy as well, but we don't use him that much.
Fucking crazy. So basically with this character, because it's designed after my artist's ideal cool look for himself, to show the transformation. Okay, so the artist himself needs glasses to see. So to hide his face, they made him a special pair of glasses. They're red tinted, it's weird, but he's given a special pair of glasses that he can see through that hide his eyes as well. He hates wearing them because they give everything a red tint.
Yeah.
So when he becomes Bylaw, it's not really through anger as much as stress. But because he's so stressed, basically, red is the most stressful color, like, by far, pretty much. It can induce stress pretty easily, especially in certain situations. What he does is, when he becomes Bylaw, he puts on the red shade, because the tint in the red is strong enough to give him the red hue back, and so everything looks natural through the shades when he's wearing them, when he's Bylaw. His hair turns blue, and he pops up his collar that he has.
Nice.
Yeah, and basically when he does this, he's like a stronger fighter. He's still a human, so it's pretty much just Batman. But it's like a 2 sides of the coin type thing with him. He's a cool character. I like him.
Batman and Two-Face.
Yeah. He's pretty much just a dude with a personality disorder who's really creative.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alright, is it back to me?
Yeah. I'm out of hero origins, so.
Oh, I can just tell the rest of mine.
Yeah. I have some villains, I just
I've
don't
got
have full
plenty.
origins for them.
Oh, you can do villains. I've been doing villains.
Yeah, I just don't have a lot of origins. Like, except for them.
Yeah. I think the last two, like, really interesting ones that I have are, 12-pack and Bizarro.
Yeah.
If you want to just pick one. I like it when you pick.
Let's save 12 pack
'Cause it
for
gives me
last.
an
He sounds
idea.
interesting. Let's go for Bizarro. And then I have one that I can tell in between.
Like, 12-pack sounds like a guy who could mess stuff up.
He sounds like the dude who comes to a party with beer.
And then drinks it all himself.
Yeah.
We've been here already. See, I told you we've been going across the entire map. We're
Yeah.
all back at the dam. Yeah, let me put a
Damn,
waypoint
dude.
down. Shut up. I'm putting a waypoint down so we can go somewhere new.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll just start talking. Dadgummit. Can't do this and think at the same time. I'll just, put a waypoint to here. Let's see where that leads us.
Daddy.
Bizarro's whole thing, you heard about him earlier. I don't think most people watching were here when I was talking about Bizarro. You probably were. Bizarro's basically our chaos god sort of thing. He's like our Dr. Fate, per se. He's the one who just... he works for both sides. He's not good, he's not bad, he's neutral, but he's also freaking nuts.
Yeah.
And he likes to make things a little crazy. He's done plenty of crazy things. Like one time in the comics, he held a frickin' tournament, it was like a fighting tournament kind of thing, fighting slash platforming sort of thing, where he was having a genie lamp, where whoever was able to get the lamp first could have a wish of their choosing.
Yeah.
He just likes making games up for people and like just start like messing things up. Also, pretty much him, Negative, and Scar are in like a hate-love triangle.
Fucking Christ.
Not like, you know, not like love. I mean, like, they're kind of a weird trio sort of thing. Like, Bizarro likes hanging out with both of them, but they hate each other.
Makes sense.
Bizarro's whole story begins in the 1940s, actually. Yeah. Basically, he was enlisted to fight in World War II. And you know who he ran into in World War II?
Am I too soon with Scar?
Yes. And Negative. The funny
the
thing
same
about
time?
Scar... not at the same time, but at separate times, but he could tell they were kind of similar. You know, like he's like, man, those guys talk the same. Like a lot. But what's so funny about this is that they were both, Scar and Negative were both fighting on the same side of the war.
Yeah. I mean, I would
that
assume
weird?
they have some of the same views, so...
Well, the reason Scar is because his nationality is German.
Oh.
So, Scar is basically a Nazi.
Yeah, makes sense.
But, oh god, our hood in the back is constantly up. That's gonna bug the snot out of me. Wait, can I fix it? Bizarro, basically, he ran into them because Bizarro's also from Germany, and he was a medic, because Bizarro's a doctor.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, neurosurgeon, surgery kind of crap, like he's
Doctor
very good at it.
Strange.
Yeah, kind of like that. But, anyway, he ends up running into both of them, and he's like, oh, those are pretty good guys, except that Negative guy is kind of a dick. But I can deal with it. Pretty much what ends up happening is that Bizarro gets wrapped up in some crap. You know what I mean? Like, really bad crap. He ends up, basically, the war's happening, and Bizarro is on the Germany side, and they're fighting the Americans. Bizarro is a nice person, or at least he was. And during said fight, he was trying to help someone that was hurt, who was on the other side, like an American. So,
Yes.
the Germans ended up listing him as a traitor and taking him as a prisoner of war. And this is going to get a little slicey dicey with the history here, kiddies, because you know this is fiction. In this universe, the Nazis have nuclear weapons. They're developing them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Kind of like how Americans used in World War II against the Japanese. They were making them.
Were made by a German, by the way.
Yeah. But basically what ended up happening is, while they were trying to take prisoners from here and there, Bizarro was one of them, he pretty much just died on the spot. Yeah, kind of like that.
I just wanted to steal this woman's rusty old car.
Oh, fine, you can drive me around while I talk so I don't have to focus on anything.
Yes.
But anyway, Bizarro ended up literally just dying on the spot while being transferred. And the guard was super lazy, so instead of actually taking him somewhere, he just kicked Bizarro into a pool of acid. Like chemically corrosive acid, hoping the body would just burn up. Because they were making nuclear warheads and whatnot. Instead of that, Bizarro pretty much the mixture of everything, along with Bizarro being freaking dead and all that, basically gave him the powers of pretty much an immortal god. I want to take a dip in there.
Fucking Christ.
Thing is, he ended up coming out of the pool, and that's why he's all like anorexic and everything, and he has like white hair, and his eyes are all messed up, like he's crazy looking. And he got out of the pool, realized he's alive, and then realized he had like some crazy powers. Because right as he got out, the soldier that had thought he died shot him, and it pretty much all of his wounds just healed instantly. And the first thing Bizarro did was just pretty much blow that place to smithereens. He just blew it up instantly. And Bizarro would end up, you know, going around, just living his life, and because of his powers, he pretty much just made himself not aging. And probably this is probably the most interesting thing about Bizarro, if you ask me, is that he was so interested in Scar and Negative that he actually pretty much used his powers to go back in time and pretty much be an observer to their whole life.
Jesus Christ. That sounds like a stalker
You know
more
what I
than
mean?
anything.
Well, pretty much, he went back in time and, like, pretty much kind of made him invisible sort of thing, and just kind of watched it on a TV, watching Scar's life, and just, like, he pretty much watched 10 billion years worth of stuff. Instead of just going back in time instantly like he could, he decided to take the long way. He waited.
Was it worth it?
And he thinks so, but to be fair, he has all the time in the world.
Yeah.
And, pretty much that's why he knows everything he needs to know about those two. And he actually, like, at some points would interfere with the timeline. So, Bizarro is a time hopper, and he is dangerous. And pretty much they're like a trio of sorts. They even have, like, their own little hand signal thing that they do. And, Bizarro is, like, the nicest one. Is that bad when Bizarro is the nicest person of the group?
No. I already didn't assume Scar was the nicest of any group ever.
Well, he's nice to the negative. At least he won't just kill you outright.
I assumed that.
But, well, Scar's a nice guy. He'll save people, but it's not the top priority. Like, if it was save a person, or catch a guy who's trying to get, or catch Negative specifically, if it's a regular criminal, he probably won't care, but if it's Negative, specifically, he's going to pick Negative. He wants him dead, so he could therefore die afterwards.
Jesus.
But yeah, Bizarro pretty much just waited, and he learned everything he could. And he also lives in his own little dimension that he calls the Void. And this is partially just so I can make an excuse of not having to draw a background in wherever he lives. Also, he likes
Sounds about
talking
right.
about the void. Sometimes the void is a joke. Sometimes the void is a thing. Sometimes people will be sent to the void randomly for no reason, and Bizarro will start telling them jokes about the void.
Sounds about right. I forgot to dye my eyebrows.
Like, frickin' one time, Negative ended up in there, and Bizarro's just poked his head out, and he's like, "Hello, Negative. What's red, white, and black all over? The void."
Wait, like, so he just pokes his head out from behind a corner, but it's all just blackness, so it makes no sense.
Pretty much, he pokes his head out of, like, the side panel, but it's like, you can't tell. It's like, is he all there, or is it just the head?
Fucking Christ.
And...
Alright, I'm going to the closest barber shop so I can re-dye my eyebrows.
Alright, Bizarro's freaking nuts, and a lot of people like him.
Yeah.
He's actually a lot of fan favorite, like, character for people. And...
I'm wondering where
His
I
re-
can buy these comics from.
Yeah, they're old. Like, I probably don't even have them anymore. We've moved around so much. I probably only got, like, one or two. And Bizarro is, like... what is he? His real name is Stephen Calloway.
Jesus Christ.
And the only person that calls him Stephen is Scar.
I think Bylaw's real name was Steve. I don't fucking remember.
What?
Hold on, I'm gonna check something. I think Bylaw's real name was Steve.
That's actually kind of funny. Bizarro's name is Stephen Calloway, and Mecha's name is Noah Perkins. Funny enough, 12-Pack's name is just 12-Pack. He doesn't have an alias.
Let me check
But,
this.
yeah, basically,
City Cash.
that's what ends up happening with that.
Alright, okay, Bylaw's real name is Timothy.
Oh, good.
Uh...
And basically, Bizarro's just nuts. He's also limitless, basically, when it comes to power.
Are you gonna feed me? Steven is the real name of Cryogen.
There you go.
Is there a Noah, like, in any of the good guys at all? I don't think there is. No. There's no Noah.
Mecha's name is Noah. Yeah.
Yeah. I know we have a Wayne somewhere in there.
We don't have a Wayne. Do
We
you
also
have
have a
one
Ray
to talk
Older.
about? 'Cause that's kind of all of Bizarro, really. Unless I go into the stories he's had, which are convoluted as snot because of who he is.
Alright, let's
If you want,
see.
I can just go
I
straight to
should... I should have at least one other I can tell a story for as far as their backstory. Hold on. Okay, so the villain for the third Velocity film is named Void. He's the only one with an actually written out, like, backstory.
Did you say Void?
Yes. God damn it, I just caught that.
To the Void.
Christ.
Hey, Righteous. What's
Yes.
red, white, and black all over?
The Void.
The Void!
Why do I feel like fucking Bizarro is more of a dad jokes character than anything else?
He kind of is. He doesn't take anything seriously unless he feels like he's losing. So the only time he's taken something
Christ.
seriously is when he fought 12-Pack, because 12-Pack's the only person to ever put up an actual fight. 12-Pack's the
sense.
only person that has ever hurt Bizarro.
Makes sense. So Void, basically, he's a man named Richard Barnes, I think is his real name. Fuck you, I don't have a nice motorcycle. But I do now.
Get sent to the Void. Righteous, send him to the Void. Oh, Jesus.
I had to punch the shit out of him so he didn't get his bike. Come on, we gotta go. The
You were
cops are on me.
saying? Alright, I'll call Lester.
So basically, the home. Okay, so there was nothing wrong with him at first, right? But he had to move for work, and he bought a home. Inside that home were several, like, demonic forces. And when he moved in, they had gotten inside of him and taken over his body pretty much. He can control dark matter and energy. But it's more or less a situation of kind of like Two-Face in a way, where he's being controlled by the darker side, and he wants to gain control back, but he can't. overall, he is a nice, caring dude, and there are even points where when he can, he holds back so that whoever is fighting him can get the upper hand, at least for a short amount of time. He is the most tragic villain I have, because he doesn't even want to do any of this. Like, he has no control. It's like several little demonic forces inside of him being like, hey, buddy, go fuck him up.
It's like Ermac. Hey, do this thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's like 1,000 little souls in there being like, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this,
Yeah.
do this, do this.
Just filled with a bunch of demonic
That
souls.
would,
Alright.
would suck so much.
Yeah.
You ready for a trim?
At the end of the film, actually, I think they're able to sap him of his powers so that he has his natural life back.
Oh my. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try that again. But, the hen house. You want me to just say 12 packs thing real quick then?
Yeah.
You should be fine.
Alright. I've pretty much hyped this guy up the entire time, so if he doesn't end up being interesting, I'm hosed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Considering he'll be my Jiren if he doesn't have a frickin' decent backstory. FYI, for people who don't know, I hate Jiren. I think Jiren's stupid.
I still don't know who
From
that
Dragon
is.
Ball Super. He's
Oh,
from
that
Dragon Ball
makes-
Super.
That's why I don't know who it is.
That gray dude with the huge eyes.
Yeah.
But, basically 12 packs thing is actually kind of, like, different from everyone else. You know why?
Why?
All of his strength and everything is natural.
Makes sense.
He's naturally that strong. Pretty
Alright.
much, he is able to do what he does because he wills it. There's like no third party involved. 12 pack is just that strong. And I love it whenever people try to put logic into this, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you can't. He's just that strong. That's the only logic.
Doesn't have logic. It's Scar and Nitro.
It does not. But basically his whole backstory is that he's from Hawaii, actually. His dad, he had a single dad. Basically, his dad was a mob boss / hotel owner. You know, that you had like the nightlife and the day life. The day life was the hotel owner, the nightlife was a mobster. And while he was, after doing so many jobs and all that, you know, 12 pack was like, what, 8 years old, I think? Maybe 7? Just going out with his dad. I think they were getting ice cream even. They were going to until like 2 cops in the car that was doing a patrol recognized his dad and gunned him down right in front of him.
That sounds like it sucks.
Oh, it was traumatizing for the little kid. And from that day forward, you think, you know, knowing his dad was a bad guy, he'd be like, oh, I'll just, you know, I won't be a good guy. He said, I won't be a bad guy, I'll be a good guy. No, that sent him mad.
Yeah.
Pretty much nowadays, he hates cops. He
I would
hates
assume.
cops.
If
You
I
know how,
cared for
like,
my
you
dad, I
get
would hate
Hulk
cops
mad?
soon, too.
You just,
Like what I
just
did earlier,
so-
yeah.
Like, 12 pack hates cops. You show him a cop. You remember how I said Scarlett's a cop and he broke her spine?
Yeah.
That's why he did it.
Oh,
Because she's a
makes sense.
cop. And he hates them. He cannot stand cops. He thinks they're just the worst.
Alex is gonna come over to kiss me because what I just did she thinks is cute. Yep. So
Alright, so basically... What? What?
what?
Something to add?
Your eye color. Whoa.
Alex is being distracting.
Of course I am.
Do you have
So-
something to add, Righteous?
Yes, I want to ask. In a fight between 12 pack and let's say
Come back
fucking
anytime.
what's his name? Fucking Thanos, who would win?
It
What do you think
depends.
of my hair?
I like the hair.
It depends. Does Thanos have the Infinity Gauntlet?
With the Infinity Gauntlet, what do you think?
Probably Thanos, because the Infinity Gauntlet is the only person who could really beat the Infinity Gauntlet. Well, there's actually 3 people.
Down.
Scar, Negative, and Bizarro are the main 3 who could beat the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
As strong as 12 pack is, he is not immune to like reality warping stuff.
Alright. Could 12 pack beat Juggernaut?
I think he could. Considering 12-pack's strength feats, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Also how durable he is. His skin is
So-
so rough, bullets bounce off of him.
So here's something no one really knows about fisticuffs. Wait, hold on. Did you finish the story?
No.
Alright. I can never like truly tell, especially when I'm being
Oh,
distracted.
Usually I'll say like, that's my story.
Alright. Yeah, I was being
But
distracted
pretty
by
much
Alex,
12-pack ended up growing up to inherit like the hotels and everything, and he ended up
Yeah.
using them himself. But he definitely was like, you know, he was like he's a one-man gang basically. Like, he is ridiculous. And you
Yes.
want to get off?
Hold on, I'm just
You want to get back on? Or am I just gonna leave you?
wait. Alright, I was putting
Wait, I
on
just
some nice
realized
fancy
we're in the
clothes
perfect place.
for dying. Wait.
For you, maybe.
I know where we're at.
Break down wall. Screw it. I'll meet you on the other side. Stay right here. I'll be right back.
I don't think I'm gonna stay right here.
Where is it?
I know what you're here for.
It's not here.
I'm just gonna drive away slowly.
Well then, poopy doopy. Alright, I'll look for one then. Basically, God, I gotta stop doing that. 12-pack ended up doing all that, and then he eventually moved to the US because he knew who Scar and Nitro was.
You see.
And he doesn't detest Scar. That's the thing. He doesn't hate Scar. He likes Scar. You know why? He likes fighting him because Scar is one of the only people to give 12-pack a challenge.
I see.
And he notices, like, Scar doesn't exactly like cops either, except Scarlet. That's the only cop that that Scar likes, for
Makes
obvious
sense.
reasons.
Would you like to
But-
get back on the bike?
Yeah, sure. Pretty much every time 12-pack and Scar fought, and it's like a slugfest, 12-pack always wins.
Fuck, that didn't work in the slightest. Yeah.
Like, that shows how strong he is. He's able to beat a guy in a fist fight who has healing factor.
Yeah.
And he's able to fight negative as well. And he was able to fight Bizarro to a frickin' draw. No one else has done that. No one else has come close to beating Bizarro. But 12-pack got close. Pretty much 12-pack, basically he can do things off of his sheer willpower. You know, and even though he's never voted the best villain, or most popular villain, if you think about it, he's the most heinous. He's the meanest.
Yeah.
Like, Negative is evil, 12-pack is just mean. Like, he broke Scarlet's back, he cracked Nitro's skull, he's beaten Scar to a bloody pulp multiple times.
Yeah.
He nearly killed Bizarro. He was able to withstand Negative. That's not very easy, especially because of those eye lasers Negative has.
Yeah.
Those things are ridiculous. And if he goes to 100%, you're dead. That's it. One hit KO. You are vaporized. Negative was 12-pack was basically able to resist 12 Negative's eye beams up to 99%. No one knows if he can survive 100. No, he's not been hit by it.
Alright.
Some say he can. Some say they don't care.
When the time comes, I'm gonna
And
like make like
it's just-
a huge god character for Righteous. Continue.
It's just 12-pack is like the Bizarro's the god character. 12-pack is the guy if the god was a man.
Yeah.
You know, he's supposed to be a challenge. And whenever he's beaten, it usually takes all three of the main heroes to take him down.
Yeah.
And the only time he's ever lost a fight, like actually lost, like couldn't fight back, was against Scar, and that's after he broke Scarlet's back. When he did that, Scar went ballistic.
Yeah.
And Scar just basically, he let loose. Like, he had no restrictions, nothing. When Scar has nothing to lose, he is way scarier than usual. He is way more dangerous. About as dangerous as Negative is. Pretty much he kind of turns into Negative when he gets mad. which kind of, you know, plays into the evil side. Still, there's still some evil in there. Which is kind of funny, because whenever Negative, in the old series, whenever Negative did die, spoiler alert, he dies.
Oh.
And Scar's, like, older. Basically... what is it? After Negative dies, Scar pretty much starts seeing him everywhere. Like, he's, basically, there's literally, like, a little bit of Negative left inside of Scar's, like, psyche and everything. So he's just able to just be there. He's like, hey, buddy, you want to have a talk? And he's like, no. Funny thing, in the original series, so I was just talking about 20 years later, in the original Scar and Nitro, Scar gets killed.
Makes sense.
That's how it ends. It ends with Negative winning.
That's
Basically,
how a lot of
Negative
good things win.
just... No, like, Negative ends up going nuts. He ends up killing Scar. Basically, like, Scar did something that he'd never done before and actually put, like, basically, he basically gave up his own life to save his friend's life. And I mean, gave up his life as in, he died. Not like, oh, you can just be, you know, not immortal if you just do this. He's like, nah. He died. Like, got killed because of it. And after Negative killed him, Nitro went ballistic and killed Negative. And because Negative, you know, wasn't immortal anymore... Oh, jeez. There I go. I'm probably gonna die here. Wait, I got a helmet, I'm good.
Alright. What the fuck?
What?
So you're like right in front of me, and then suddenly you warped all the way down the mountain.
Sweet. But yeah. And then after that, 20 years later, Scar's dead. Nitro is older, and he's like basically took Scar's spot, and he's the old man now. Scarlet and Scar had kids that never knew their dad because she was pregnant when he died. One of them is it's a boy and a girl. One of them is a girl, and her name is I think it was Sierra, and the boy, I can't remember his name because it was so long ago, but he's blind.
Oh.
That's kind of something to think about.
Did you see what I just
And
did?
yeah, defied death.
Yeah. Like a boss.
You bit the balls of death. And
Let's go!
Here comes death again. Oh, I think my nuts exploded.
Well, I made it to our destination. The school lighthouse.
Was this our destination, Righteous?
It was when I saw the lighthouse.
I see. I was gonna say... Yeah, 20 years later is sad.
Mashed potatoes. Yeah.
And pretty much Nitro's just taking up Scar's mantle and doing what he's supposed to do. And teaching the kids everything they need to know. And trying to bring the father figure that the kids unfortunately don't have. And the series, both series have an end, funny enough. It pretty much ends with Negative being resurrected.
Ah.
And then pretty much when one of them gets resurrected, the rule is the other one does too.
Makes
But
sense.
only until the other one dies. So basically Scar was resurrected just to kill Negative, and this time Scar was able to do it, and right as he killed Negative, he just kind of phased away.
Just fucking flopped over.
Oh, and you know what ended up you know how the series got resetted? Like rebooted and all that? You're either gonna love this or hate this. Basically what ended up happening was like the scene played, like super sad, Scar just disappeared and everyone like is super happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
You got the somber music in your head, and then it pans out like even farther than it already has, and you see Bizarro sitting down, who's not even been in the 20 Years Later series at all. He's sitting there, he doesn't look different at all. He's just been sitting there frickin' on a chair, like on a comfy chair, with his feet up on a footstool, wearing like those little pajama shoes that you wear, like slippers.
Yeah.
And he has a remote in his hands, and he looks ticked off, and he's like, "That's the worst ending I've ever freaking seen." And I'll give him a second chance, and then he presses the button, and the whole series gets rebooted.
I was hoping, because you talked about it being reset, I was hoping that's what happened.
It literally got resetted because Bizarro didn't like the ending.
Yeah?
He was just like, you know what, that ending was bullcrap. I'll give him a second chance. And he pretty much presses the, like, basically the rewind button, and everything goes back.
Yeah.
I do want to have a definitive ending, though, at some point for the new series, because this is basically, you know how you had Batman and Robin, and then you had the New Adventures of Batman and Robin? I know that ain't the same thing I'm doing here, but you could take it like that, as in, like, it's the same series, but with an updated look and everything, you know?
Yeah.
I want it to have a definitive ending, and I would like for Scar Nitro to become a real thing. I don't see it happening, but...
Real in what sense?
It would be cool. Real thing is in, like, people know about it, people think it's cool,
I mean,
maybe actually get somewhere.
so, it would end up having to be another reset, but if you had a situation where you reset the thing, like, you could probably have it put on the internet, like, with each new installment, and I could help spread it around.
Yeah. It's kind of like what you want with Velocity, basically.
Yeah.
Just, you know, people to know about it. People to know the story.
Yeah. And with Velocity, I know for a fact I can make it happen. Because I have a small group of people who are excited. And all you need to make something become big is a small group of people who are excited. Because then they'll share it with their friends. And their friends will share it with their friends. And it's a constant circle of sharing until it all comes full circle, and suddenly your friends are telling you about it as if you didn't know.
Yeah. Scar Nitro has always been a small thing.
Yeah.
Like, schoolyard, you know, people end up enjoying it. To my enjoyment. You know, I like...
Alright, so...
Whenever someone enjoys my stuff, I get all warm and fuzzy.
Alright, so I want to, on stream, live, with no viewers, I think, have a small agreement piece with you. Hold
I need
on,
to go to bed in a minute, so please...
Yeah, I'm gonna check how many people we have on stream, and then I'm gonna say it. 'Cause you might not have anyone.
I can't move.
Yeah. I know that feeling. Just try turning while backing up a bunch. Let me just... Doing this already complicated, huh? Right. So I have no viewers. Alright,
I'll be right
so
back.
I want to... Alright. Ideally, if we were to get both of these, like, properties, both Scar Nitro and Velocity, to become popular enough to not be household names per se, but to be shared around by people, I would like to come up with the agreement of, when they're both well known enough, for there to be some form of an amalgamated comic series.
Or at least a crossover of some sorts.
Yeah, like, I don't know, I kind of want the idea of a crossover where, like, you know, one of your villains crosses over into my world and you follow them to stop them, because you already know, if they're in my world, shit's gonna go down. Especially because your characters are less
considering how
strong
strong they are.
Yeah, and so basically you're following them because your world's already played with them. You don't need that for another world.
You know what's funny? You wanna know
What?
something hilarious?
What?
Our world, the Communist Party world, those
Yeah.
comics, are actually taking place in the same world as the Scar Nitro comics.
Makes sense.
They're in literally the same town. You don't know what the difference is?
What's the difference?
And you're part of the Communist Party comics too, so you're in the Scar Nitro universe technically, righteous?
Jesus.
Basically, the difference is we're on the south side of town, They're on the north side. And we
So
once
this is
had a
the south side of
crossover.
town.
Yep. We once had a crossover, and it was
Yeah.
like just a short thing. It was before I met you. It was just me, Cody, Nova, and Bat. And basically, like the crossover panned out to be just we walked into each other in the street. Me and Scar just stare at each other, and I look at him, and he looks back at me, and I'm just like, God, you look ridiculous.
But you both look pretty much exactly the same.
Well, we don't look the same at all, actually. I say he looks ridiculous. It's funny because I designed him,
Yeah.
and frickin' one of the jokes. This was back when Scar was like a crazy grandpa, and people love that version for some reason. Scar basically, Bat like gets in front of me, because he's my bodyguard basically, and he gets in Scar's face, and Scar takes Bat's sunglasses and eats them.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he eats them. And Bat gets terrified for obvious reasons. And I'm like, are you from the north? And they're like, yeah, you're from the south. And Cody and Nitro pretty much hit it off like they've been best buds for 10 years. Am I being shot at? I'll take your silence as a yes.
I'm eating.
Ew, 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 ew. Well, someone shot at me. I don't know who it is. But there were bullets whizzing into the water next to me.
Fucking Christ. Whizzing is an amazing word.
Isn't it? But, yeah. I thought that was a funny little crossover thing. It was
You know
just kind of there just to
I
be
just
like,
thought about
hey,
that would be
we're in
kind
the
of
same
entertaining.
universe.
Imagine a Scar and Nitro and Velocity crossover, and at one point Scar just looks over to Velocity and is like, you whizzing schmuck!
Shit. Freaking, me and Cody thought of a funny comic to do where it's like a grocery store thing. Literally, it's the grocery store. It's like the only one in town, so everyone goes to it.
Yeah.
And there's like so many awkward encounters. You know what I mean? And at one point, it was like, I think it was like we ran into, like the Communist Party themselves ran into, I think it was like Negative or something. And I was like, just walk the other way.
Fucking Christ.
That's how scary he is. His eyes are, basically his eyes, they're kind of like caved in. His eyes are shadowed. Like they're pure black. And they're like all scarred looking. And his pupils are pure white and they glow.
I see.
Also, he never smiles. This dude is always a frown, and he only fights with his feet and his eyes.
That
What I
sounds
mean by
worse than
that-
creepy.
He uses his eye beams, basically, and you know those are strong as crap, and can one-shot you. And he, basically he just keeps his arms folded behind his back, like, constantly.
I see you're
And
approaching
he
me.
only fights with, like, his feet and his legs occasionally. Na savanya rabadisti barara endare endare endare.
I'm
Well, I
going
need
to
to go to
race
sleep,
you
so I'm
into
just
the
gonna
water.
kill myself. Well, I win because I'm already here.
Aha, but I lived. Well, Merry Christmas. I'm gonna discover YouTube probably and eat my cup of mashed potatoes. It ends automatically when I turn off the game, which I haven't done yet. And there we go. I get to end the stream by myself for once. Okay, bye everybody.